If you're a fitness coach and you're dreaming of hitting your first 10K month, but you're stuck, you're burnt out, or struggling to get clients, I get it, right? It was literally a year ago. I was struggling working a 9 to 5. I was posting content that didn't convert. And I was just questioning if I really had what it took. So, my name's Jack Lowe. And at the age of 19, I built a multi six-figure online fitness coaching business using a system that helped me go from making $500 in 2 months to 10K weeks in just under a 6 month period, right? I spent tens of thousands of dollars building my businesses, and now I'm giving you the exact same blueprint for free. This isn't fluff, it's the exact same process I use with my clients that have paid me over $5,000, right? So you'll learn how to build authority, how to create a premium offer, right? And how to turn your followers into high ticket clients, right? Even with a small audience and no certifications. I want you to treat this course as if you actually were a paid client of mine, right? I hope you find it useful. And if you want access to the documents that I give you and I show you in this whole 2 to 3 hour long course, or you simply just have questions, just drop me a DM on Instagram and I'll chat to you soon. So good luck.
Yes, everyone, welcome to lesson 1 of this free course, right? And just before we jump into the first lesson, right, I just want to make sure that you guys understand that what I'm about to give you and go through with you, I charge my customers and my clients $5,000 for this, right? So make sure you're writing down notes, you're taking every little bit of detail down in order to help you and get the best results. Lesson 1, we're going to find how to find your customer and your niche. Who is it that you're actually selling to? Right. And throughout this whole thing, I want to make sure you guys actually fully understand it. So make sure we go through steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. Right. Don't start skipping these sections now because everything I'm about to drop is going to help you throughout the whole thing. Right. So your industry is already in fitness, right? And now we need to find a specific person that you are selling to. Right. That's called your ideal customer. And we want to be specific about who we're going to sell to and to make it basically to make it easier to sell your coaching programs, right? Because in your marketing and content, you'll be targeting their pain points. So you need to make sure you have your niche and your customer correct in order to target them, right? And here are a few profitable niches within the fitness industry, right? So postpartum mothers who want to lose weight. So mothers who've just had babies, right? Men over 40 years old who want to lose belly fat, skinny young men who want to gain muscle, fat loss for busy professionals and entrepreneurs, right? Or 9 to 5 workers, whatever you want to call them. And then solving back pain for adult men over 35, right? These are very profitable niches in the fitness industry that you guys can 100% jump into if you've been in that same situation before. But let's jump into it now. So creating your niche, right? Step 1 is you need to ask yourself these 3 questions, right? So what was my personal fitness journey like and what transformation did I make for myself, right? By doing this, by figuring out your transformation, you can like act as them, right? You can show that you've been in the same situation as them before and you've got out of it and you are where you are now, right? Which is so important to creating your niche, right? And then number 2, what pain was I in before I made this personal transformation, right? Were you embarrassed about your size? Did you have back pain? Were you really skinny? List these pains down, right? Make sure to list all these pains down, right, for question 2. And then who do I want to help the most? And what do I know about the type of person, right? So write these down and write them in detail, right? Don't just put a few lines, right? Because we're going to go into step 2, right? Which is super important. So as long as you've got all the detail down, ready to move on to step 2, then we can get moving, right? Because this is honestly the outline and the answers to question 3 in a document will be used within the next step, right? So everything here is going to be super important. So step 2, you need to clarify your demographic and psychographic, right? You should now have an idea of who you want to target based on the 3 questions we just gone through in step 1, right? So now we'll figure out their demographic and psychographic, things like your age, your gender, your ideal customer, and the way they think, right? So right here, we're going to be basically leveraging AI / ChatGPT to do the heavy lifting for us in the next steps, right? So right here, I want you to use this prompt here. So I'm going to quickly show you. I've got it up here. So this is the prompt that you guys are going to use for the first stage, right? And if you guys want this prompt and the next few prompts that I'm going to show you, then just DM me on Instagram prompt and I'll send them over to you guys. But for now, I want you guys to copy this, right? Once you've got it, go into ChatGPT and paste it, right? And as you can see here, it says paste your answers to question 3 and step 1, right? And the same here. So what we'll do, we'll come back here, and I've got an example for myself here, so yours will be different, right? So we'll just copy that like so, and then what we'll do here, we'll come to this section here, boom, 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 delete, paste, right? And the same for right here. Perfect. So I'll paste that in. And then once you've done that, all you got to do is press generate, right? And from there, ChatGPT will do a lot of the work. As that's loading though, what we'll do, we'll come back here, we'll have a look through the next stage, because these stages are very important. So step 3 is finding the pains and desires, right? We'll also use AI here to find your ideal customers' pains and desires. And I want you guys to use the same AI, right? Or ChatGPT that you just used on the same thing with this next prompt. So if you come here, go to step 3, I want you guys to basically look at this and copy all of this, right? So we'll go from here, boom, 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 right? And as you can see, copy this again. ChatGPT would have finished. So as you can see, you've now got your demographic, you've got male, you've got your gender, you've got your income level, you've got your patient status, and you've got your market size, right? You've got your psychographic data, everything like that as well. So that's all generated for you guys already, right? And then you come down here and I want you guys to paste like so, right? And as you can see, you've got the next prompt here. And as I said, if you guys want this prompt, DM me on Instagram and I'll just send it over to you guys. So no need to worry about writing all this out yourself. So as you can see here, paste answers from question 1 and 2 from step 1 in here, right? So you need to make sure you're doing that. So what I'll do is I'll delete this. I'll go back to mine. So I've already got an example here for myself. Yours is going to be different. And then I'll come like this, copy that, and then come here and I'll paste it in there like so, right? Once you've done that, you can have a read through it if you like, change anything that you really need, but everything here is done for you, right? So you don't need to worry. And then all you got to do is press play and let it generate. So as that's generating, we'll move on to the next step, right? But make sure you're watching through this whole thing. Otherwise, if you miss one of these steps, then you're going to miss a lot of information, right? So step 4 is copying the information, right? Again, ask ChatGPT to compile all your answers from step 2 and step 3 into one cohesive block so you can easily copy and paste the data, right? So use the appropriate prompt inside the same prompt document in step 4, right? And as I said, use the same ChatGPT AI as you've been using before. And once you've pressed this link here, it'll come back to this, right? Just come to step 4. As you can see, this is the next one, right? So you just come here, press copy, boom, and then you come down here and then, look, as you can see now, AI, ChatGPT has done a lot of the work. So it's answered all the questions for you. So what are your client's deepest desires? How much does your ideal client know about your service, right? How many similar products have they been told about before, right? So these little things are going to help you just grow your authority and differentiate you from a lot of the other people online who are doing the same thing, right? Which is super, super important. You don't want to be like everyone else. And then the last prompt is using the information you've just generated, right? Basically compile the 11 questions we've just made into one sort of document so you can nicely present them inside another document that you guys can keep, right? But we'll jump onto that in a second. But for this section here, now we've got all of this, all you got to do is press play. And yeah, if you guys obviously want this prompt, just DM me on Instagram and I'll send it all over to you guys. So you guys don't need to worry at all, right? But as you can see here, it's basically creating your ideal customer, right? So your ideal customer profile, adult men with chronic back pain, right? So demographic is say 35 to 64 years old, gender, male, income level, occupation status, right? And all of these little things that you guys will be able to use to get the most out of it, right? So make sure you're getting all of this down, right? You're copy and pasting this. Obviously, it's still loading. But as you can see here, right? So this prompt will get all the information you need that you've gotten from AI to generate in one specific order. And then from here, we want to copy all the information into a blank page. As I said before, name this document your market research document, right? And then from there, you'll be utilizing this information and document to refer back to when you create content and marketing assets, right? So all you got to do from here is obviously have a read through all of this, make sure you understand it. So for example, this goes back to the top. So as you can see, we've got your psychographic data, we've got your demographic, and then you come down to here, deep buyer persona analysis, right? So you can name it deep buyer persona analysis, right? And then from here, what are your client's deepest desires? How much does your ideal client know about the service? And it gives you all the answers you guys need in order to get the most out of everything that we just went through. So if you guys just copy everything here, right up to here, as we just pasted that last bit and put it into another document, right? Then you guys have that there for you to go back to when you need it, right? So this is super important. And as I said, guys, if you want everything that I've just gone through here, just DM me the word prompts on Instagram, and I'll send it over to you guys. So yeah, hope that understands. Make sure to be writing notes, and yeah, let's get on to lesson 2. Right, so on to lesson 2 now. And in this lesson, we're going to be going through crafting your offer, which is so important. And make sure you stick around for this lesson, because we're going to be going through the Alex Hormozy equation, right, which is super cool, and how this will help you basically create your offer that you're going to be giving your customer, right? And this includes your deliverables, the end goal / transformation you'll help them achieve, your process, and the new person they will become as a result of your process, your deliverables, and your own personal work ethic, right? And here are the 4 components to a good offer. So you have your dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement over time delay times effort and sacrifice. This equals the value, right? This is called the value equation from Alex Hormozy, and is the backbone of how we craft a strong offer, right? Answer these 4 questions below that I'm about to show you in order to get the most out of it, right? So dream outcome, right? What is the ideal outcome that our ideal customer wants, right? Is it to lose weight, to get rid of back pain, to spend more time and be active with their kids, right? What do they really want? Not just service level stuff. What could it be that's solving their pain, right, for them? So if you can figure out their pain points, like I just mentioned there, this will help you a lot more down the line, right? It will help you on your calls with them, figuring out exactly what reason, because a lot of people do hide their reasons to their pain. Like men, I know men have a lot of, like, they don't a lot of people don't like talking about stuff, right? Especially men, right? So if you can really get off the surface level stuff and dive deep, then you can figure out their pain points even more, right? And then perceived likelihood of achievement. How likely is it that they will achieve their desired outcome, right? This must be as high as possible, at least an 80% chance if they do the work, right? So what do they want? This helps them visualize it and makes them want to get started ASAP. And then time delay. How long would it take for your ideal customer to get to their desired outcome, right? This must be as short as logically and humanly possible, right? We want to get people results fast, but be honest and realistic. Don't lie about this, right? Don't say to someone that they're going to lose 10 kg in the next 2 weeks, right? I mean, I know people who have, but it's just not healthy, and you shouldn't be doing that, right? So be realistic with your goal and tell them, right? And then effort and sacrifice. How much effort do they have to put in, and how much do they have to sacrifice to get their desired outcome? Do they have to stop eating junk food? We want the effort and sacrifice to be as low as possible, because people are inherently lazy and want the good stuff easily, right? That's one thing you guys ought to realize. Human beings, super lazy, especially in this day and age. People just want it like that, right? So if you can tell them and give them what they want, then they're going to be more inclined to work for you, right? Because it's less effort for them, and that means they can get good results, right? So crafting your 1 sentence offer as well. So use this template below that I'm about to show you. This sentence is what you'll use for all your marketing, so your audience knows exactly who you help and what problem you solve, right? I mean, you've seen it on a lot of people's, probably seen it on mine before. So here's a good example of what you can use, and I'll show you an example here in a second. But for example, I help blah blah blah. Let's say I help men over 40 fix their back pain forever without medicine or pills. They can live their life back pain free, right? So like this line is super important. This is what you see in like a lot of bios and things like that, just to show exactly who they're aiming for, right? And this is what you can use right here. So if you guys want this, as I said, just DM me the word prompt, and I'll send you over this as well. But this is quite straightforward anyway. But this sentence can be used basically to sum up exactly who you are serving and who you can help, right? You don't have to use all the elements in one sentence to make it effective, but yeah, here's an example as I just explained there. But if that makes sense, guys, and you want any more information about this, obviously, as I said, I'll send this all over to you guys. Just DM me the word prompt, and I'll send you how to craft your offer.
Yes, everyone, welcome to lesson 3. And in this lesson, we're going to go through what you need to start and become a successful online fitness coach. And we're going to go through everything you require as an online fitness coach, from skill sets, tools, apps, websites, software, etc. Right? So the main skill sets to become an online fitness coach is obviously fitness knowledge, right? You can't be a fitness coach if you don't understand exercise science, training principles, the proper form, right? And even if you're not a certified personal trainer, knowing how to do the correct technique and do it safely and effectively is super important, right? These things, honestly, just if you know how to go to the gym, that's honestly all you need, right? Because safety is super important, right? You don't want to cause anyone to have any accidents, right? And then nutrition basics. You don't need to be a dietitian, right? I'm no dietitian, but you do need to understand and guide clients on the general nutrition principles that support their goals, right? So increasing their protein intake, calorie deficits, calorie surplus, all these little things, right? And look, to be honest, you will learn things along the way also, right? People will ask you questions. You might go away and ask yourself the same thing, right? What actually is that? And you go and research it, then you learn it. And then from there, you can go and tell them. And then the next one is coaching and communication. Great coaches listen, motivate, and guide clients with empathy. Learning how to connect with people, give feedback, and support behavior change is key, right? If you can help and answer people's questions when they need and actually just be there for that person, right, then that's all they're going to really, really need, right? At the end of the day, people want to join you for that one-time fitness coaching business, like join your fitness coaching business because of you, right? So be yourself, help people and motivate them. And in content creation as well, to attract and serve clients online, you'll need to create valuable content and social media posts, emails, videos, and more. Don't worry if you're not a tech person. We'll teach you simple systems to make this easy, right? And as I said before, guys, if you guys want access to all of this, just DM me content on Instagram and I'll send them over to you, right? So these are super important. And then sales and marketing, right? If you want clients to find you and work with you, you need to understand how to talk about your services confidently and attractively. Marketing isn't sleazy, right? When you believe in what you offer, right? If you're good at sales, even better. So having a good physique, all of these things, and marketing is also so important, right? Because think about it like this, guys. Marketing's at the top of the funnel. And I'll make a whole another video on this, but if your marketing is not right, then everything else won't work, right? So if there's a break in any section of your funnel, then something's not going to work and it won't be right. So marketing is number one, because at the end of the day, if you don't get eyeballs on your product, no one's going to buy. And then business systems, right? So from setting up payment methods to onboarding clients smoothly, you'll learn how to keep things organized so you can focus on coaching, not chaos, right? So business systems is so important, and it's something I didn't take into consideration too much when I first started, and now I know exactly why and how it's so important to actually have your business systems and back-end stuff all set up properly, which is so important. So that's super important. And then here are a few tools that you need to be a successful online fitness coach. You won't need a lot of fancy gear to start. Most successful online fitness coaches use just a few tools, right? And obviously there's a few things you need, like a smartphone, right? I mean, I do use Osmo Pocket 3, DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is honestly a lifesaver, but I did end up growing my fitness coaching business and my personal brand to over 500,000 followers, literally using my phone only. So use your phone, a laptop or tablet, right? I recommend you guys get a laptop if you don't already, or PC to do all the editing on and building out their programs. And then the basic software is like Trainerize for obviously your clients' programs, Calendly to book the calls, WhatsApp, iMessage, or Trainerize for communication, right? Trainerize has honestly got most of it on there. It's also good to grab their number as well, just to bring a bit more of that personal aspect to it. And then Canva or CapCut for creating the content, editing thumbnails and things like that. And then payment platforms like Stripe, PayPal, Fanbases, Whop, etc. Right, and then obviously Notion as well to build them out a personalized website for the client to track and learn. Right, on my Notion and what I do with my fitness guys and what I did before and what you guys need to do as well is have enough information on there, right, so that they know exactly what they need to do step by step after your onboarding call, right? 2, you can have your educational stuff on there as well. So you can put videos in there on how to help them and teach them along the way so they know exactly what they're getting from you, right? And then here's obviously Calendly. If we go up to the top here, so obviously once they click on the link, right, it'll go to something like this where you can obviously see their calendar. And here, obviously, you just press on that. You'll come up with your timetable there. As you can see, 10 a.m., 10:30, 11, right? They can book in the call. And then from there, easy peasy. But that's another thing. So that's Calendly, super simple. Once you've set it up, you just send them the link, they book in the call. And then Trainerize as well. So Trainerize is the platform you guys are going to use in order to keep track of people's workouts and just keep them accountable and have everything you can see for your workouts and how to build stuff, right? Like you can, and the great thing about Trainerize as well, you can actually like duplicate, because at the end of the day, look, you guys are in fitness, you guys know what you're talking about. Sometimes you can get a program and it works for multiple different people. So all you have to do is really just duplicate it and then slightly adjust it to help them, right? And that's the great thing about Trainerize here is you can literally duplicate programs, change it up a little bit to suit that person, right? Which is super important. And then Notion as well. So Notion is this, which I was explaining before. As you can see here, right, you got everything you need right here. So as I was explaining, we've got obviously Tom's program, instant action steps, everything like this to help them get them going. Simple as that. And then from there, also, obviously that's the Notion. You've got everything to the headquarters and everything like that to help them move forward and fast forward their journey, right? And just keep them good, because at the end of the day, if you have a terrible onboarding, right, and then you don't talk to them for the next 3 days, or they don't have anything to do for the next 3 days, they're probably going to double think it. So if you can give them stuff to do straight away, even better. And then obviously your Instagram and TikTok to basically help funnel them to your page, into your DMs of Instagram, to then talk to them. And from there, we'll go through this on another video, on another lesson on the same video. And then from there, get them on a call and boom, right? But yeah, guys, if you want this, just make sure, just swing me a DM on Instagram, just say content, DM me content. I'll send you this whole page here. And yeah, that's lesson 3 done there. But if you guys honestly have any questions, as I said, just give me a message on Instagram, jacklow.8. And yeah, on to lesson 4. Yes, everyone, welcome to lesson 4. And in this lesson, we're going to go through structuring your coaching program, right? Structure is so important when it comes to building any type of business, and even more important when it comes to building an online fitness coaching business, right? So in this video, we're going to basically go through this Gamma document right here, as you can see here. So obviously in this module, we're going to break down exactly step by step on how to structure your fitness coaching program. This is exactly how I personally structure my fitness coaching program inside TCT Fitness, which is obviously my fitness coaching business. And then the foundations, right? So to build a sustainable online fitness coaching business, you need this in your coaching program. So it needs to be simple for you to manage, easier for your clients to follow, and designed to get real results. Let me walk you through exactly how I structure my own fitness program and why it works. And look, before we jump onto the next stage, stick along, because in this next few stages, we're going to go through why is it like having a simple business structure just makes your life a whole lot easier and stress-free, right? Because at the end of the day, who wants to be stressed? No one wants to be stressed. So having a simple structure to follow each day makes it a lot easier. And easier for clients to follow as well, because you don't want to overcomplicate your business where your clients are also feeling overwhelmed, right? So make sure you use all these things. So your core coaching offer, right? The duration is going to be around 4 or 6 or 12 months, right? So I really recommend, if you're starting out, start with 4, right? Then you can also pitch 12 once you've got a few clients on your belt and you feel confident yourself. pitch 12, and then you pitch the 6, and then you pitch the 4, then you can kind of dive down, right? So you always want to go for the highest one first. And obviously 12 months, let's say you pitch for 5K for 12 months, right? That's 1 year. If they can't do that, maybe you recommend something else, do half an hour, half later, then you move down to 6. If they really can't do that, then 4, you know what I mean? So you're kind of moving it down. We'll go through this on another lesson anyway. But yeah, so these are like the durations that I would personally follow, and a lot of other people do as well, who are very successful online fitness coaches. And the goal of this is to basically help them with fat loss, strength gain, or habit change, right? Obviously based on your own niche, right? So really based on what you do. If you feel like they need 6 months to see very good results, then say it to them, right? You need to be specific. You need to act like the authority in your space, and you need to know what you're talking about. So when you're talking to them, talk to them with real conviction, and from there they will trust you more. And we work with them one-to-one and figure out their own goals, desires, and current problems in their business, right? So this is what we do with all my clients in 3TM and stuff like that. So we need to figure out exactly what they need to work on, and how and what type of content they need to make in order to target their specific niche, which is super important, right? As we went through on the last lesson, your marketing. And here are a few of the deliverables, right? So custom training plan, right? As we said before, on Trainerize. So Trainerize, you can literally use as your central hub for your clients. You can talk on there. You have your plans on there. You have your diet plans on there. You can work your habits on there. You can literally do everything. You can set up groups. You can set up little challenges, right? So many things you can do. And that will be like your central hub for everything. Right, and then custom meal plan built on eatthismuch.com. This one, obviously, calorie target, meal plan ideas, optional tracking, right? You can have everything in there. Make them literally everything, right? This is all the reason why I use eatthismuch.com is it's very, very good, and your clients will be very happy if you get it right. Obviously, you need to adjust stuff here and there, but with it as well, it just automatically builds you out recipes and shopping lists as well, just to save you guys a bit of time. But make sure you go through it, right? You need to make sure, because everyone's got a different diet and everyone's got like different taste buds, right? So having a good plan for them to follow is going to be awesome, right? And then weekly check-ins also. So weekly check-ins, group calls, these things are going to help build that trust even more, right? So having these weekly check-ins is generally what's going to take you from here to there in your business, and it's going to help you gain even more trust with your clients. So you can do this in the form of videos, audios, like just sending a voice note, right? These small things are generally going to change like people's aspects on your business, and just going to trust you a lot more, right? And I did actually just mention group calls, which is also here, but group calls 2 times a week. You can do Wednesday, Sunday, right? And by having group calls also, it can, like, say you have a lot of clients like I do, right? Having group calls saves you a lot more time than doing one-to-one with every single person each week, right? So group calls is a great way. You can get like 15 people on at a time, or even more, right? Depending on how many clients you got. So that's a super good way of just saving time and maximizing what you've got, right? So weekly check-ins, forms like Google Forms and things like that, access to myself by Trainerize, or phone number for support. Giving people your phone number as well, I understand, can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but if you get a separate phone number, awesome, right? And then you have that for your clients, or you can just do everything on Trainerize, or whatever you would rather use to keep in contact with your clients. Is totally up to you. And then habit tracking and mindset support. So you can also do this on Trainerize. So you can track their habits, their mindset. You can give them stuff as well. Like with my clients as well, I go above and beyond, right? And I recommend all of you guys have to go above and beyond, especially if you feel like it's a lot of effort at the beginning. It will pay off eventually. Clients will realize they'll refer you to their friend, and then their friend will refer you to another friend. You know what I mean? And then it kind of passes on. So if you can make their program and their thing like very, very good, and going into these small details, it will generally change you. It will separate you from the rest of the online fitness coaches, right? Simple as that. So habit tracking, mindset support, like, I mean, as for an example, I send people some yin yoga things to do sometimes, because look, it's helped me, might have helped you guys. Send them through that. Send them some meditations you've done, right? Just to get the best outcome. And then Notion template to track, right? As I've said before in the last lesson I showed you through, right? Have a Notion template. In your Notion template, have their online to-do list, have their educational assets on there, have all of these little things to just make it that little bit better, right? And separate your program from a lot of other people's programs, right? And from there, you will see a lot more progress and a lot more people joining your business just purely because you look after your clients well, right? And when you look after your clients, they get good results. And then when they get good results, you get good results, and people want to join you and work with you more because people can see that you're actually helping a lot of other people in their similar situations. So they're going to be more inclined to trust you, right? So these little things and these deliverables are what you're going to have, you need for your business, right? So make sure you get these in. And if you want this template, remember, give me a DM on Instagram and I'll send it over to you guys. And yeah, on to the next lesson. So let's run it.
Yes, everyone, in lesson 5, we're going to go through pricing your fitness coaching program, which is probably what a lot of you guys are wondering about anyway. So what should you be charging your clients, right? And this is going to shock a lot of you guys. So at the moment, with my offer and how I sell my stuff for my fitness coaching business, is at the price points around 2 to 5k USD upfront for 6 months, right? Obviously 5k is more for 12-month period, and then I do like 2.8 for a 6-month period. And then obviously everything fluctuates, it can change. Right, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. If you guys have never signed a client before, you've never done anything like that, I recommend you start lower, right? Start with 997, 900 USD, right? Get a few in. After your first 3, then you can up the price, right? But the only reason why you can up the price and why I can have a price very high is purely because obviously I'm going to be telling you guys a lot of the reasons why anyway, but the main thing is generally the product, right? If your product's worth that price and what you give to your clients is worth that price, then you can charge it, right? So you have to make sure the product's good, otherwise you're just going to get chargebacks, which is something none of you guys want. Simple as that. So yeah, price point 2 to 5k USD upfront for 6 months. Bonuses as well: daily accountability check-ins, private community chat, Q&As with like sleep, mindset, gut health, etc., how to burn fat, things like that, right? So you can do these things with your clients, group calls as well, super important, super good. And here's what I actually use to run everything, right? So Discord server. So for the Discord server, I use it for daily support, questions, and community, right? Everything in there. And obviously I'll show you some examples after, a little bit lower down in this lesson. But for example, the channels, we can have a wins, check-ins, questions, general chat, mindset, right? So these channels and things like that are going to basically motivate other people who also are in the program, right? Because if other people see that other people are working, it will give them a little push as well, which is super important. So wins is for like getting to the gym, eating the right food sort of thing, losing 5 kg of fat, or putting on a bit of muscle, see a first vein. I don't know, whatever your clients want to achieve. Check-ins as well. Obviously, you can have a link in the Discord chat where it's like, all right, book your calls here. This is your own link. Make sure to book your calls, and then questions, general chat, mindset sort of thing, and then a private DM access for one-to-one clients. Also, right, so having that one-to-one aspect is super cool for your clients to have access to, right? And then Google Calendar for scheduling weekly calls, group calls, e.g. Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m, right, when you do your group calls. So have it at the same time each week, right, where you take your group calls with the guys. And the great thing about this as well, and we'll go into a bit more detail about it, with group calls, you can talk to a lot of people at once, right? You don't have to do one-to-one. It saves you a lot of time, right? And time is one thing you can't get back. So if you can maximize your time as much as possible and still charge premium prices, then it's a win-win, right? It's a win-win. And then Zoom or Google Meets for obviously group coaching calls and onboarding sessions. Google Sheets to track income and client details, right? Tracking is so important, so important, because then you can see what's going wrong in your business, what's going well, and what can you improve, the reasons why this didn't work, that didn't work, sort of thing, right? So Google Sheets, tracking, whatever you want to use for tracking, right? I use Google Sheets. And then PayPal, Fanbase, or WAP for collecting your payments, right? Obviously, some of them do take quite a large percentage. I know WAP takes quite a large percentage. Fanbase is, I'm not totally sure. I think it's like 2 or 3%. But yeah, obviously they do take a small percentage. But yeah, they are the best ways of collecting payments, in my opinion, and the way I use to collect my client payments as well. And then Canva for your resources, visual guides, client-facing content, right? So Canva is great to, and you can edit your thumbnails on there as well. So if you make YouTube videos, which is super important as well, and all of you should be making YouTube videos, you can edit your thumbnails on Canva, right? You can put your slideshows together with your clients, testimonials, and things like that. And then CapCut for editing videos, right? Premiere Pro as well is also very good, but CapCut's probably the easiest and what most of you guys know anyway, for editing, right? So you must use CapCut just in general, right? You can use TikTok and you can use Instagram. Instagram's pretty bad in my opinion. They do need some work, but CapCut is the go-to and it always will be, in my opinion. It's just super simple to use. There's a lot of things you can do with it as well, right? And then Notion as well. So Notion for tracking client data and education, and then you can have your education assets on there, right? And this is like a big selling point for a lot of my guys is, look, we don't just give you a workout plan, we don't just give you a meal plan, we actually educate you along the way, right? And we build you out your own custom website for yourself, right? And having a Notion website for your each client is gonna make it just feel that much more premium, right? So it's gonna feel like a more of a premium product. Your clients will be more inclined to get it going, simple as that. And then deliverable sheet as well shows everything they get inside the program, right? The deliverable sheet literally shows everything. I'm actually going to show you in a second anyway, so make sure you carry on watching this lesson. But having a deliverable sheet is great for your sales calls and stuff, just to show your clients exactly what they get access to, right? And then structuring your program for efficiency, right? Time efficient, one-to-one group call. One group call can support 10 plus clients at once, right? As I was mentioning before, group calls are just OP because you can do all your client check-ins on one group call, which is awesome. And then scalability as well. As you grow, you don't have to work one-to-one with every client daily, right? So that's another thing. Obviously, group calls are going to help you with check-ins, and you can have your own, once you've built up your status and you've got more clients coming in and things like that, then you can bring people in to do it for you. And then effective, right? Clients get personalized help and peer accountability, right? So the personalized help is honestly one of the main selling points as well, right? I know you guys are probably thinking, oh yeah, but how am I supposed to give them personalized help if I'm on a group call with them, right? You can do it, right? Not and you if they that's the great thing about this as well. You can charge different packages, right? So I know I had 2 to 5K there, but for someone who wants that personalized help and one-to-one calls with yourself, right, you can charge a larger price for that, or you could charge per call, per one-to-one call, right? There's loads of little ways you can go down it. But yeah, so that's very important. And one check-in form, one support channel, one system, right? Just make it as streamlined and simple as possible. Don't overcomplicate it, right? I know a lot of people, I did it as well, right? I'm just saying this from experience. I've gone through doing very well, like doing very bad, very stressed out. And the best way is to just make it simple. Like simple is sometimes a lot better, right? And then for a few examples here, so obviously Discord server layout, so you've got the welcome, to-do list, book one-to-one, chat, progress, training plan, right? And then Google Calendar, right? Simple as that. Just an example here of just scheduling in your calls, and you can block bits out as well here. So say you got training, or you're going to see your family, or you're going out for dinner, right? Or it's your birthday, you can just block it out there on Google Calendar, and you can connect it to your Calendly as well, which is awesome. Or whatever you're using to book your calls, right? And then onboarding form and the sample client plan, right? So here's just the client plan. Let me zoom in for you guys actually. So as you guys can see here, here's just a quick example of a client plan, right? Obviously it looks like a lot, but it can, once you've got the rhythm, it's quite easy to log everything in. So you see upper body 1, upper body 2, core 1, 2 sort of thing. Or if you want to do push, pull, legs, you can say that, right? It's really up to you. We'll go into this in a bit more detail in this video. But if you guys do want this page that I'm giving you, just message me content on Instagram, give me a DM, and I'll send you through this video, right? And I'll send you through this page as well, just to give you guys a little bit more of understanding, so it's not just me waffling the whole time. You can actually have everything here that I'm giving you. And then here's like a quick example of an onboarding call questions. So once they have had their onboarding call, you can send them this, right? You can go through, right, what's your age, what's your weight, height. You might already have these details, but it's good to have it written down. So then you can put it into your Google Sheets, which what we mentioned before, right? Which is super important to just track all your client data and everything like that, right? So you can give them this, super straightforward. And then you don't need to overcomplicate your offer. Simple systems that deliver real results and accountability works best for both your clients and your business, right? This is honestly, if you focus on this and you actually provide good results to your clients, you don't overcomplicate it, you will get results and your clients will be happy and your business will be thriving, right? So keep it simple, follow these steps and get it moving. So if you guys want this page, just give me a DM on Instagram content and I'll send it over to you. Right, so in lesson 6, we're gonna go through Instagram and profile optimization, which is so important, especially if you're building a coaching business of any sort, right? It could be fitness, it could be trading, it could be lifestyle, it could be life maxim, right? Anything. Your Instagram like profile, the way you should see it is it's like your website, right? If your website looks rubbish, then people are going to be less inclined to work with you, right? So your entire business is going to be run through Instagram. Instagram is the engine which will help you attract clients and convert views into clients, right? Without getting all these next steps shown in the marketing section, your coaching business will struggle, right? So make sure you watch through this whole lesson fully and efficiently, right? Because this is going to help you get to where you want to get to, right? So profile, your Instagram profile could be the make or break whether or not a viewer will trust you or not, right? It has to be properly optimized to prime the viewer to watch more of your content, right? So here are 3 main components to optimize your profile, right? So obviously you need your bio, you need some highlights, and you need a good profile photo. And we'll jump into this in a bit more detail later on, so just stick along here. Right, and I'll show you how to optimize all 3 here. So number 1, your bio should be structured like this and could be no more than 4 lines long. Right, as you can see here, I've got my call to action, right? These are obviously because I'm running a fitness coaching business as well, and a consultancy. So obviously I've got 2 call to actions in there, but I'm going to show you a few others later on in this lesson. So stick along here. But the main thing you want to think about right now is, right, your call to action, how you're going to help people, right? So to turn and make sure you turn on your business account to a professional coach, right? So as like, I don't know if you guys seen this, have a quick look if you guys can see here. So as you can see here under my name here, it says coach, right? And then you'll be able to see all your stats and everything now on your account. So you'll be able to see your followers going up, your views going up on your account, which is super important, especially if you're tracking data, right? So make sure you turn that on, right? And then components as well, what you do and who do you serve, right? So e.g., I help adult men fix back pain caused by their 9-to-5 jobs or whatever you want to say, right? For an example, for the component, then call to action to DM you, DM me back to fix your back pain. A call to action to watch your VSL, to go to your landing page or your story video, right? Basically below your call to action, as you can see here, there should be another link, right? So obviously I've got 2 links in my account. I'm going to show you a few other examples in a second. But as you can see, you've got your call to action, and then you can even have like another line, as I said, my fitness story pointing down, right? And they press on it, they see my VSL, but it's not actually for them. It's just a normal YouTube video of me talking about my story, my life, and how I can help them, right? And the struggles I've been through, right? So, and that's your VSL, right? And that's purely, I'm going to show you what a VSL is later on, but that's super important to have in your bio. And then you can just have it like this: my story, my story video showing how I got rid of my back pain in 3 months, or you say my fitness story, or how I went from overweight to shredded, right? Pointing down arrow to watch the video, sort of thing, right? You can have the finger, as you can see there, or the arrow, right? It's totally up to you. And then the highlights as well. So highlights are going to be so important as well, just to show a bit more authority about your life, about your client results and things like that, right? And in the highlights, you must be highlighting the following, right? So screenshots of your client results, show you before and after. By doing this, you're showing your wins and proof that your methods do work. And I know a lot of you guys who are starting out probably don't have any results, but if you do, then that's great. But if you don't, then use yourself, show your transformation, show your story. Or if you have ever helped anyone, right, never lie. One thing I would say, don't lie about your results and things like that. Make sure when you're posting things, right? In your highlights, say, all right, cool. Say you have helped a friend or a family member. Say, I helped my family member, or I help X get to Y, right? In the space of 6 months by giving them advice on their diet, right? That's totally fine because you're not lying. But don't lie, don't lie. And then from here, obviously, put your testimonials in there, put your story as well. So your personal transformation, as I said before, this just helps people resonate with you, right? Because they want to know that you are just a normal person. You're not like a just something born ripped, like, you know what I mean. So people want to know, people want to work with someone they can resonate with, right? And be like, all right, cool, I'm in that situation now, I know this guy's got out of the situation I'm currently in, so I'm gonna ask for his help, right? And then your lifestyle as well, just general lifestyle stuff of you traveling or with your family, to show you're a real person, as I said before, right? Just show you're a real person, be yourself, right? Don't try and be this flashy guy online who only posts shredded and topless when he's got a pump, right? Show yourself before and after, right? Because that will build more trust than just you showing your crazy physique that you probably have, right? As simple as that. And then profile photo as well. Your profile photo is super important. So it should be a clear photo of you, especially your face, and something that could build credibility, right? It could be you winning or a competition on a podium, your physique, right? So if you're a fitness coach, then yeah, your physique is going to be super important, or a professional headshot photo of you, right? Obviously, if you're in fitness, which most of you probably are watching this, having your physique as your profile photo will show that credibility, will show that you have a good physique, and then that'll be the first thing they see, right? So here are a few examples of it. So obviously, a few of these guys here, I've got screenshots of here. So Cruz here, obviously I help shredded men shred fat and pack on muscle. DM me cut for one-to-one fitness coaching, free training, right? He's got his physique there. As you can see, he's got his client results. He's got other results there as well. Maybe a little bit about himself, I'm not sure. But everything there is building that credibility, that authority, right? I know actually in his application, he goes on about his story, like his VSL sort of thing. So that's super good, super good. And then a fit 05, right? So bringing simplicity, fun, and freedom back into fitness. Getting fit doesn't have to be insufferable, right? DM me now for coaching, free training, right? Another one, great bio, call to action, and pushes them down to the free training, right? And then one guy you guys will probably know, Hussein, right? So Hussein right here, obviously in his bio as well. Oh, that's another thing as well, in your name, right? So Cruz doesn't have it here, but Chris does. So elite fitness coach, Hussein does online fitness coach, right? In your name. So that's one of the main things people see. They see your good physique, and then they see, all right, he's a fitness coach, he can probably help me. And then they go here, they're like, all right, cool. He helps men achieve their dream physique, co-owner of blah, blah, blah. Right, you can put your supplement brand. I don't know. This is obviously, Hussein's huge. So he's got a lot of leverage, And then one-on-one coaching application, right? So there's an arrow pointing down here, right? And you just apply there, right? Have your VSL in there, call to action, right? And then from there, boom, you've got them in that call. They've messaged you. They've watched through a few of your videos on your YouTube. By the time they watch a 30-minute long YouTube video, they most likely they trust you even more, right? Because they understand where you're coming from, your story, right? So this is very important, right? Because the way you got to look at this as well is this is literally your website, right? This is your website. So the first thing they see will be this. So make sure it's clean and it looks good, right? So lesson 6 done. And yeah, if you want me to send this over to you, just give me a DM on Instagram and I'll send it over to you. So yeah, on to lesson 7. Right, so in lesson 7, we're going to go through Instagram social DM funnel, right? So in this section, we're basically going to go through and break down everything you need to know how to basically funnel them into the DMs, onto the sales calls, and from there, create them into a client and sell them for whatever package you're selling them for, right? So this is very, very important as well. And the DM funnel is the process of a customer's journey from a cold lead who sees your content for the first time and turn them into a buyer for your coaching program, right? This is the layout of your funnel. So as you can see here, you've obviously got the traffic, which come from your Instagram, YouTube. You can even use TikTok, right? I use TikTok. I'm quite big on there. And I use TikTok. One thing with TikTok, though, I would say is it's not the best for just messaging, right? If you're going to message people, use TikTok as a funnel to funnel them into Instagram, right? And then from there, and the same with YouTube as well. And then from there, you can message them, you can talk to them on Instagram, and boom, right? Get them the DMs, and you can talk to them from there. Simple as that, right? So traffic source is obviously from Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, as we said before, and then your CTAs, stories, and content, right? So you can have your CTAs and your content, and on your stories as well. And make sure with CTAs you don't rinse it, right? Don't have loads of CTAs everywhere, because it just seems like you're trying to sell people. When people feel like you're trying to sell them, then they're gonna be less inclined to work with you, because it just looks like you're there for the money, right? When you're obviously want to help them and you're trying to build a business, but you don't want to make it look like that too much, right? Simple as that. So your CTA is very important, right? And then DMs, right? Once you got them into the DMs, you qualify them in the DMs, right? If you want to do it yourself, or if you have a setter, if you're part of obviously my consulting group and everything like that, then we would implement setters into your business when you need them, right? But it's good to learn, right? I'm just going to say that now. Don't just get a setter or anyone like that to do your stuff for you straight off the bat, right? Learn it yourself. And then once you've built up enough volume and you haven't got enough time, right, then get a setter, right? Because what that does, it saves your time, and it's just very, very convenient. So obviously qualify them. If they're qualified, then book the call. Then you can send them your VSL if they haven't watched it already. Send them a few YouTube videos. So just qualify them even more, right? And then you're on the sales call. And then from that, right, it's all down to your sales skills, right? And then fulfillment. So this is the layout of how your leads will turn from seeing your content for the first time into becoming a buyer, right? There's obviously been going a bit more detail with this, but this is just a simple overview of how it works. So your content does all the educating. It breaks limiting beliefs of your audience and garners basically all your traffic, right? So it's super, super important that you give good quality content out there, because if you can break people's limiting beliefs before they even jump on the call, which is why I get everyone to do CTAs, which is why I get everyone to do YouTube videos, which is why I get everyone to say, look, talk about yourself, talk about your story, because by doing that and giving information and telling people this and telling people that, people are going to trust you even more, and you're gonna look like the authority in your space, right? So it's so important that your content, your marketing is good enough to break limiting beliefs and educate people along the way, right? And then your YouTube builds trust, as I was saying, and positions you as an expert. This is why it's important not to just go all in on short form content, but to also have long form videos through your YouTube channel, right? And your stories and reels are your interest mechanisms, right, which turn all the attention you have into leads who are interested in your coaching program, right? So short form's great, but long form's even better, right? Even better. And then the DMs are your interest mechanisms, to turn intent and interest into sales calls where you can convert leads into clients, right? So we kind of run through this already, but the DMs is where you qualify them, you get them booked on a call, and you can nurture them a little bit more, right? Just a little bit more. And then utilize the DM process will provide you as well, right? So you'll learn how to take a lead from your DMs into a sales call, and from the sales call into a customer, right? And then finally, the sales call is where you turn leads into buyers, right? So we'll send you all of this anyway. So if you guys do want this, just send me a DM on Instagram. Just say content, right, as we used before. So just DM me content. I'll send you through this page as well. And then from there, we'll keep it going. But yeah, for now, I want you to just have a look at this real quick. So the breakdown of how it work is the traffic source be coming from like Instagram, everything like that, right? Where you be qualifying them in the DMs sort of thing. And then educating and trust building, right? YouTube's great for that. Your stories as well. Stories on Instagram, right? If you can post your day-to-day life on Instagram, talk, build trust, and from there you're gonna bring in interested buyers and people who want to work with you. And then intent building as well. CTAs, stories, right? If people see your content online, then they go into your story and they watch like 5 stories, and at the end there's a CTA, they'll be like, all right, maybe I might as well. This guy seems like he knows what he's doing. I'm going to give him a message. Boom. Now you're in the DMs. Now you can qualify them. Now you can nurture them even more to a point where, all right, now they're getting on a call with you. They've watched all your VSLs, and then you close them, right? And then you're in your program, and then you can help them, and then your business grows, right? So all these little parts are super important. And then interest and intent, DM conversations, right? As we've said already, and then conversions and sales calls, right? Once you get these to a T and you've got them all sorted, then things just start flowing nicely. And then from there, you're doing less work and making more for your business, right? So you get these all broken down properly, then you will see crazy results very quickly, like I did myself, right? So if you guys want this page, just DM me content on Instagram and I'll send it over to you. Right, so in lesson 8, we're going to go through how to build your organic fitness audience, right? And right here, I made a whole YouTube video on this anyway, which is about 20 to 30 minutes long. But in this video, I'm going to go through it as quick as I can. But I want to go through the 3-pillar system that you guys must use, right, in order to bring in clients and bring in qualified clients, but also help you grow your social media all at the same time, right? So you're still gaining followers, you're still gaining interest, but you're also making good moves and you're bringing in clients, right, for your business. So this is the 3-pillar system, right? So info, proof, and lifestyle, right? The 3-pillar system attracts high quality clients by building authority, trust, and desire. Each pillar is designed to work together so your audience naturally moves from interest to inquiry, ultimately asking you for help, right? And the way it works is the 3-pillar basically triggers the authority magnet effect, where people basically just want to be working with you, right? Simple as that, right? So the way it would work is, number one, the informational content. The informational content's sole job of this is to basically show that you know your stuff and you can simplify complex ideas, right? This builds trust with your audience and shows that you have expertise, right, before you even get on the sales call, right, with them. And here are a few examples that you guys can take down. So for the informational side, you've got common health and fitness lies, training tips for busy professionals, nutrition made simple, mini breakdowns of client plans and mistakes most people make, right, with the solutions. So you can use these as like just ideas. And then here are a few titles as well for video ideas as well. So why you don't need to cut carbs to lose fat, right? Macros explained in 90 seconds. The all or nothing law, right? You know what I mean? So you guys can use these if you want, right? And then with your videos as well, end of a CTA, right? I'm not saying end of a CTA every single video. Maybe for every 5 videos, drop a CTA in at the end where you're actually talking and you're saying, look, if you guys want my help and you want to burn fat in the next 90 days, then DM me fat and we'll get going, right? So you can add that, and I did say it, don't overuse it, right? And the tip here is to dive into detail, right? Don't just say lose weight. To lose weight, you need to walk every day, right? You're hitting the top part. You want to dive deep into it, right? Talk about calorie deficit. Talk about how increasing muscle mass increases your metabolism, etc. Right? And all these little things will help build that authority and show that you actually do know your stuff and you can help that person to get to where they want to get to, right? Simple as that. And then proof content, right? So proof content's goal is to build trust and authority through evidence and results, right? Show your audience you've helped people like them achieve what they want, right? And I did go through this in the last lesson, but say you don't have any testimonials yet, but you have a good testimony of yourself, or you have helped someone else in the past, get someone to talk for you, right? You know what I mean? All of these little things do help, right? Because you have helped. Let's be real. If you've been to the gym with a friend here and there, you've helped them with something, right? So get them to talk about that, even if it's just like, yeah, he really helped me with my discipline and getting me consistent into the gym and just generally helped me enjoy it a lot more, right? Because if people enjoy stuff as well, like that's another big selling point you guys could go down is enjoyment, right? Some people just have that mindset of like lifting weights at the gym, but just like lifting pieces of metal, right? But if you can make it fun and enjoy and like make people enjoy it and go to work each day, getting a pump, like from there, then people are more likely going to work with you because they're like, all right, cool. People actually enjoy working with Jack. People enjoy working with John. You know what I mean? So these little things. And here are a few examples. So client testimonials. So you do a slideshow, talk about how you got your guy from here to here, talk about how you got abs from this to this in like 1 year sort of thing. You can show overlays, right? And then before and afters. So with story context, so you can do your clients, yourself, anything like that, your own transformation, right? Storytelling. You've probably seen a few bits of mine, screenshots of messages, progress updates, wins, DMs, case studies and breakdowns, with breakdowns, and then proof of the method working over time, right? Proof of the method working over time. So tracking sheets, graphs, right? Show, like with Trainerize, which is awesome. You can actually get people to track their weight, and you can see the way they're moving, right? If they want to increase weight or go down, you can show people graphs, which definitely helps a lot, right? And then video ideas as well. So how Sarah lost 25 pounds without giving up pizza, right? These are good little hooks that you guys can start with, and that's a whole nother video that I'm going to go into, and I have gone into. It's on my YouTube if you guys want to check that out. But I go into a whole video talking about why hooks, why the middle part is so important, and I'll give you a few examples as well, which is very, very important, especially if you're trying to build authority and gain their attention quickly. Because there is a fun fact that it was like 50 to 100 years ago, people's attention span was around 50 minutes. Today, it's 7 seconds, right? Think about that. That is ridiculous, right? So you got to catch people's attention straight off the bat, right? If you want to keep their attention. So having a good hook or good video title, wherever you're doing, will definitely help, right? And make sure to plan them properly, right? Don't just run it up and just wish for the best. Actually plan it. See what's been working for other people and copy it, right? Simple as that. Copy it. And then the last one is lifestyle, right? Lifestyle. This can be anything. This is what's going to help you boost your social media. This is what's going to help you bring in even more views, build even more trust, and just bring in views, right? Simple as that. This lifestyle stuff could be, look, we'll go into this in the next section, but the goal of lifestyle is purely to show what life looks like when someone is living an after version, right? So fit in, right, to show that you have a controlled life. And what it does as well, it builds emotional desire and positions you as a real and relatable person, which is so important. We literally said this in the last lesson, but it's so important that you can show that you are just like them. You are in a similar situation to them where they want to be, right? But then obviously here are a few examples. So daily life vlogs, right? You can do it on YouTube. You can do quick ones with at home, right? For shorts. Eating out while staying fit, how to manage work and family life and fitness, right? Behind the scenes of your daily habits, e.g. morning routine, meal prep, freedom moments, travel, family time, social life, mental benefits, energy, confidence, clarity, right? So you can go into detail about these things as well. You can even do POV videos, I've called them the filler videos. So say you need something off there quick, you want to post 3 today, you've only got 2, right? Do a POV. Make it relatable, make it funny, make it something that people are like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then they repost it, right? And then from there you build up your views, which is honestly great, right? And then video ideas as well, right? So come grocery shopping with me, what I eat in a day to stay lean, how I balance business, family, and fitness without burning out, right? These are all very relatable stuff. So say your goal is to help people who work a 9 to 5 to burn fat, right? Have a good title. I help how to reduce the friction once you get home from a long day of work in order to get yourself to the gym, right? Then you can go into detail about how to reduce friction through just getting to the gym. So for example, you could say, to reduce friction, pack your bags the night before, meal prep, so that you're not thinking about it. It's already there by the door. As soon as you step inside your house, you can pick up your bag, chuck it on your back, get down to the gym, get changed, and you're in the gym, right? So there's no thinking of what you're going to wear, blah, 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 right? You're reducing the friction as much as possible. And that's just one video idea. There's obviously a few here you guys can use, right? And express everything, right? Go over the top and be yourself. That's one thing. I've worked with loads of very, very big content creators, right? A few guys you probably know, like Jeremy Lynch, Billy Wingrove, right? Even I've met KSI, all these big guys in the UK, right? I've met loads of content creators. And the one thing they all do, right? All do is they go over the top. And this is something that not a lot of people get access to in the industry and realize, right? If you guys want to gain people's attention, if you guys want views and people to understand you a bit more, go over the top, right? Generally just blurt something out, right? Obviously be careful what you say, but just go over the top with everything. And from there, people will be like, oh God, oh yeah, I know Jack. Oh yeah, I know John, I know Alf, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, he does that thing, right? And people will remember you for that type of video, that type of saying, right? And then from there, you build up your mojo, but that is super important. Just going over the top, and by having these three pillars together, this causes your authority magnet effect, which we went over at the beginning, right? So the authority magnet effect, and then that initially leads into paying customers, right? And then I put another thing here. Every video should have a hook to grab their attention straight away. Post 2 to 3 videos per day or more, right? I say if you no more than 5 a day, no more than 5 videos a day. Otherwise, it just looks like you're spamming, right? So no more than 5 is good. But yeah, minimum 2 to 3. But yeah, if that helps you guys there, and if you want this Miro board clip, I'm gonna send this all to you guys. So just DM me Miro if you want this, and I'll just send it to you on Instagram. And yeah, so hopefully that helped. Hopefully you understand. If you guys have any questions as well, just give me a message on Instagram. I'll be there to help you guys out. I try and get back to all of you as much as I can. But yeah, on to the next lesson. Right, so in lesson 9, we're going to go through building your VSL. Right, and as you can see here, I've made a gamma doc for you guys. So we're going to go through this. And VSL basically stands for Video Sales Letter. Right, it can be around from 5 to 20 minutes long, even 30 minutes, up to 30 minutes to be honest. And it's basically a video that educates your potential buyers on who you are, right, and what you do and how you can help them with their health and fitness, right? So it's basically a persuasive video of specifically crafting to turn your viewers into leads, into buyers for your fitness coaching program, right? So like just in short term, just super simple term, we'll keep it nice and simple for you guys. It's basically something like people don't see it as a VSL. People see it as you telling your story and saying how you can help them and how you got out of your certain situation, right? Which is honestly, like I've signed so many guys purely down to them really enjoying the VSL and understanding my story, just me in general, right? Because at the end of the day, people want to work with people who they can resonate with and people they trust, right? So if you go into depth about your past traumas or when you were depressed or when you were unhappy, then people are gonna resonate with you a bit more because you're coming out of your shell, right? You're telling them to do it. So by you doing it and showing them that you've got weaknesses that you've got through and that they probably have, then they're going to be more inclined to work with you because, as I said before in the previous lessons, people want to resonate and work with people they know and trust, right? So the goal of the VSL is basically to persuade your potential buyers to choose you as the fitness coach they want to work with, right? And to show them why you are better than any other fitness coach out there, right? So you actually have to be better than other fitness coaches. I just put a quick note there for you guys. So that's just in super short term, and it's honestly it's not that hard to understand. Basically just explaining your story. But why do we need a VSL, right? You need a VSL so you can educate the lead or potential buyer on who you are and how you can help them, right? It's essential for building trust and nurturing your leads, right? Not having a VSL can be very, very, very detrimental to your business, right? I'll tell you now, most businesses have some sort of VSL. I'm talking from the lowest to the biggest, right? Apple, everyone have some sort of virtual sales letter that they use on their website or they have somewhere that helps build that trust, right? However, crafting one isn't easy. It's not just another YouTube video or Instagram reel, right? Every word must be precisely scripted to make the viewer resonate with you and inspire them to take action and work with you, right? It takes time to create because you're building a long-term asset that will constantly be seen by potential buyers. And a poorly made VSL can actually push them away, right? So you need to make sure you go into detail with your VSL. You can't just say a few things here and there and make it sound like everyone else's, right? You actually need to go into detail about what Jim has helped you with, right? So super, super important there, right? And here's basically the framework of the virtual sales letter. So at the beginning, I'm going to show you an example of my one very quickly in a second. But the way you would frame it is introducing the problem or the goal of the video, right? So introduce a problem, you can have some sort of visual hook to show them at the beginning who this is for, right? So you're going through, right, this is not for people who are unmotivated, don't concentrate, don't want to get better, right? This is for people who want to improve their life. And by using terms like this, and I'm going to show you in a second, people are like going to push themselves towards the person who works hard because that's who people want to be, right? That's generally who people want to be. So people are going to tell themselves, yeah, I'm that, but you're going to tell them that they're not, right? The hard truth, a lot of the people who are going to be jumping on calls of you are not where they want to be, right? So you've got to just push them into reality and tell them, look, this is what you need to do. And if you don't do it, then it's going to get worse, right? But I'll show you. And then your story of rags to riches, how you got how you were overweight to get shredded, or super skinny to shredded, you know what I mean? And then case study, social proof as well. So you can use your testimonials, you can use yourself, you can use your friends who you've helped, or your family who you've helped, right? And then persuasion process as well. So these little things, I'm actually going to show you in a second anyway. And then big realization, right? So this is all to do with your story as well. So the day you realized that going to the gym, eating the right food was the day your life completely changed, right? It didn't just get you better looking physically, but it also did something to my mind, right? You can go into things about that. You don't just have to talk about the body and diet. You can actually go into the mindset, how gym has actually took you from depressed and unconfident to an absolute beast, confident in themselves and just feeling 10 times better about their body and the way they look, which ended up causing them to get a better job, or causing yourself to get a better job, right? So these little things you can jump into, and then your unique mechanism. So how you're going to help people, how you're going to help them go from point A to point B, and then 3-step process as well, right? I'm going to show you all of these things as well. Case study, social proof, which is always good to have them at the beginning, in my opinion, and then results-based, and the results-based CTA as well, which is super, super important. But let me just show you very quickly how it would work. Right, so you can see this here. This is just example of mine. Right, so obviously I've got a title here, how I went from being unconfident a week to building the ultimate shredded physique whilst only spending around 6 hours in the gym a week. Right, I did this by using calorie and macro handling and progressively overload. Right, so this right here, like macro handling, calorie and macro handling, is something not a lot of people understand or know, right? It's a bit of a made up word, but it sounds good. And that, right, honestly, that catches people's attention because it does mean something, but not a lot of people know that, right? And then you can have a few things here. As you see, I can got my testimonial of myself, go from this to this. And then client transformations as well, as I was saying before. You need your testimonials, a bit about themselves, their story, right? And how they've got to where they've got to. Super important. And then just a few videos as well, right, of clients that I have here. So obviously it really depends on where you guys are at. So some people won't be able to do this yet because they haven't got anything. Some of you might not be able to do many of these, but if you can get something out there just showing you've helped 1 or 2 other people with their physique or yourself, that will be very, very, very good for your business, right? Because people are going to trust you even more. And then just loads more testimonials here for myself anyway. And look, the more you're in this game for, the more testimonials you bring in, the better your VSL gets, right? So you can always adjust this, come back to it. If you build it out on Canva, you can always save it for later and then come back to it, right? And add more things to it if you need be. And then it's just me going into my journey, right? So like the relatable stuff. So obviously I go from literally from a very young age, was playing for Crystal Palace for Premier League. I was playing Premier League, right, for 10 years sort of thing. Very was getting bullied at school. Like these are, I don't need to go into this now. You guys can watch my VSL on YouTube. But this is what I would send to like fitness clients, right? People who want to get better shape and build more confidence. So this is similar to what you guys need to be doing as well, right? So you guys can take mine for an example if you need, but just adjust it to what your life is like, and you can always change the background, the fonts, whatever you want to do. And then obviously just me going into a few other things, me putting on a happy face to cover it up. Like these are all little things people can relate with, right? Especially men, right? A lot of men hide the way they're feeling. They build it up and then they explode sort of thing. So if you can resonate with people and just show that you've been through a hard time as well, then it's going to build even more trust, right? So obviously I started taking fitness very seriously at the age of 16. I had little to no idea on what food I needed to eat, blah, 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 right? Similar to what these guys will be going through. So everything like here, I played football, and then, yeah, I spent months researching and watching YouTube to understand it better, trying to personalize it as much as possible. Then when I started seeing results, that's when I started seeing results. And that right there also shows that I'm a hard worker, right? I know I'm a hard worker. You know you're a hard worker as well, but you need to explain it. Why are you a hard worker? Why are you at the physique you have today? Like, you wouldn't have got to the physique you have right now if you wasn't a hard worker, if you didn't look after yourself. So explain what you did in order to get to where you got to, right? And then after a few months, obviously, I went from 116 pounds, 138 of lean muscle. And yeah, basically started building a good base from there, building up and getting better. As you can see, I'm also putting some videos in there, and some photos also, just to show a bit of context as well, which is also very, very good. And then I started asking friends and people older than myself to help me educate me further, right? So this is, I think, a very, very important line that everyone should have in their VSL, right? Something like this to show that you have invested in yourself also. Because if you're trying to get people to invest in you, you need to show that you've invested in yourself as well, right? Don't, like, you got, the way you got to see it is don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite, right? If you're telling them to invest in themselves, you needed to invested in yourself also, right? And look, say you haven't spent much money on yourself before, but you spent money on a gym membership. That's another example, right? You can, or you've invested in your health or things like this, right? Just explain that you've invested in yourself before, and then just show how things went well and then obviously you fell off or whatever, right? Everyone's story is different, but as you can see, I put some visual things in there just for you guys to understand, right? And after a few years of consistent hard work and surrounding myself with like-minded people who also wanted to get in shape, my progress catapulted. Boom, 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 right? As you guys can see, I don't need to read through all of this for you guys now. But yeah, as you can see, obviously I'm showing a bit about my lifestyle as well, right? So more confident in my body, right? Lessons learned, freedom as well, right? Freedom as in I've always wanted the freedom of doing what I want when I want and with my job, right? Now I can finally do it. And that's kind of, obviously you guys might be thinking, yeah, but I'm coaching fitness. I'm not coaching to teach them to become financially free. But you can explain how, by you becoming fit, by you getting shredded, looking after yourself, going to the gym, building that discipline, building that confidence, it's caused you to learn lessons you never would have learned if you didn't have that confidence in yourself, and you got a better job because of it. You can explain things like this, right? You can explain how you working out each day has given you that time freedom and that expertise to go and do what you love to do now, right? And another good example you could use on sales calls or even on the VSL is say something like, look, like you could use it as a visual example, saying like, look, say you're in a meeting or a job interview, sorry, right? You're standing next to a guy who's fit, healthy, muscular, looks good, looks after his hair, looks after his skin. Who do you think's more likely to get the job? You, who's overweight, doesn't look like they look after themselves, crumpled up shirt, or the guy next to you who's shredded, big muscles, looks good, looks like he looks after himself, ironed out shirt. Who do you think is more likely to get the job, right? That's something you guys can use on your VSL or sales calls, whatever you want to do, right? So very good example there for you guys. And then I have an opportunity for you. So this is me kind of moving into like the next section of the video. So I've explained my story, my lifestyle, right? And now it's like, all right, cool. Now I'm actually pitching something, right? So I'm showing them how I can help them and who this is for, right? And this is, as I was saying earlier, right, this is very good. So this is for the people who want unlimited confidence, are action takers, are feeling lost on the journey, want forever lasting discipline, are bored of slow progress, are open-minded, right? This is not for if you've got a big ego, if you're a quitter, if you're not patient, not making this a priority, right? People are always going to resonate and say, yeah, I'm this, I want to be this, right? But you've got that job. You need to tell them that, look, you wouldn't be all of these and coming to me still. You know what I mean? So that's what you want. That's what everyone's going to say they want, right? And want to be like, and they're going to say they are, but it's your job to say, look, you're not there yet, right? You're not where you want to be. You wouldn't be jumping on this call with me right now if you were every single one of these, right? So that's something you got to go through with them, and then explain why they're failing, right? Their accountability, training, their nutrition is not on point, right? So accountability, you can go over other programs or methods you've tried and you haven't kept accountable. Your coach simply handed you a plan, expects you to follow it, right? These little things. Training also, you're not training properly. You're unsure of how many sets and reps to do, which, look, at the end of the day, if you're not doing the workout properly, they're not going to get to where they want to get to. So it's super important. You just explain, because people can resonate with this as well, especially if the older guys have been with trainers before, right? A lot of people will just hand them a workout plan, will just hand them a diet plan and say good luck, right? You got to explain that you're going to be there for them. You're going to be giving them that accountability and showing them the way every step of the way, right? And then nutrition as well. Your diet is completely off track, right? And another thing, you got to wake up. If you think you're eating correctly, why don't you already have your dream physique yet? Right? This is a very good line. And I'll put it in red here. Right? You don't know how to check your calories and macros or how to adjust them each week to continue making progress towards your goal. Right? These things are going to resonate with them, and they're very important also. And then lies as well. So what's holding you back? All these little things. So you guys can obviously adjust this yourself. This is for me. Right, but just have a read through this, and then here are the 6 fundamentals to make you unstoppable and shredded. Right, so this right here, this is like, all right, cool. They know, right? They know that we're about to jump into something. They know that this is what I need to know in order to get to where Jack is now. Right, so now people trust you a bit more. They know your story. They know how you got to where you're going to get to, and how you can keep helping them. So the 6 fundamentals: mastering mindset. I'm not going to read through everything now, but the main part of like this section is honestly to educate them even more, right? Tell them what exactly they need in order to get to where they want to get to, and then at the end you can pitch them with something in order to funnel them into your DMs, right? Or get them to book a call on your Canly link or whatever, straight into the description of the YouTube video. But as you can see here, so the 6 fundamentals is mastering mindset, right? Consistent, progressive training plans, right? So making sure they're progressively overloading, they're staying consistent with their stuff, right? Custom diet plan personal to you, right? So you can explain how ever since you got that personal plan for yourself, your life has completely changed, because one size doesn't fit all. Everyone's different, right? And as soon as you got something that was adapted for you, right, and you enjoyed it, then you catapulted, right? And then like-minded community as well. Explain how by being around the right people and your program, you can hint your stuff as well, how your program has helped educate you and push you and motivate you through the tough times, right? Because everyone goes through hard times, and it's always good being around like-minded people who are also on that same journey, right? Even myself, even today, like running my businesses and everything like that, some days I'm like, damn. But I go and meet other friends, I go and meet other guys with the same mindset as me and who want to improve. It just makes the journey a whole lot easier. And that's something you guys can improve on and explain to the guys, right? Being in a like-minded community is going to push you to become the person you've always wanted to be, right? So without much effort either. Like, that's the great thing about being around people who also push you and also on that same journey, is that you don't feel like you're alone, and it gives you that extra bit of drive, right? And then build your circle as well. You must be around people who have the same goals, right? Friends who push you, friends who keep you accountable, friends who don't let you slack off. This kind of links onto the like-minded community stuff anyway. But yeah, build your circle, be around good people, and exclusive access to me. Now we're kind of jumping into, all right, Jack's got something, right? Exclusive access to me. So by joining my program, you get exclusive access to my expertise. You'll be able to ask me anything, request more in-depth content, and so much more. Right, these little things, upgraded support as well, experience tailored support and mentorship from me and my team. Right, we're here to ensure that you get the guidance and motivation you need to crush your goals. Right, so everything here is going to help. Right, now you're kind of pushing them. All right, you're kind of linking to something now. They're kind of understanding. So by the time they do jump on that sales call with you, right, you got to make sure people watch the VSL beforehand as well. And then once you've obviously they get on that sales call, they know that you're probably gonna pitch them something, and then obviously you got at the end. This just links back to the 6-step development for your transformation, and then the next steps. Right, obviously you would have this on YouTube. You have the link in the description of your YouTube video, and then from there you can get them to book a call straight in. Right, make sure you have a few questions on the Canly link before, just so you see if they're qualified or not. And just to get a bit more detail about them, just in case they have gone straight from YouTube to your booking a call, right? And honestly, a lot of people after watching this are most likely going to sign up with you as long as they're qualified, right? So This is super important. This is super, super important. But let's go back to this, right? So framework of the VSL we've just gone through, and then introducing the problem and the goal, right? This is done in the first 15 to 30 seconds of the VSL. Like it says, this is where you introduce the main problem or goal that you are going to be solving in the video, right? So as I said before, I'm helping guys build confidence with my VSL. This is usually one slide and it's literally only a small section, right? As you saw in my one. And then you're showing people how they can solve X problem without X pain points that they usually have when trying to solve that problem, right? For example, how you could lose, let's say, I don't know, 5 kg of fat without counting calories, right? And then the pain point as people don't like calorie counting, right? So not everyone wants to just be counting their calories all the time. So you can explain that you don't need to count your calories in order to lose weight or build muscle. You just need to make sure you're doing X and Y in order to get there, right? And then who's this for? So clarify who's watching this video and who it's for. If it's women, say it's for women, right? Be specific. I said it's for men who want to build confidence and don't want to spend more than 6 hours in the gym a week, right? This will qualify who we actually want to watch the video and allow us to filter all the bad leads, to not waste time watching a video that wasn't for them, right? And isn't someone that is someone we can actually help, right? And then when calling out who this is for, call out the characteristics and pain points that your ideal customer would have, right? Calling out the pain points is significantly more powerful than calling out the characteristics, as it sounds as if you are talking directly to them because you understand the pains and call outs the pains they are currently experiencing, right? So this is all part of the VSL, and can go with the introduction as well, as you saw with mine, right? So be specific with who you're aiming for. And if you guys want this document, I'll send it to you. So just DM me VSL on Instagram, or DM me on Instagram, and I'll just send this over to you, the Gamma doc. So don't you guys worry about it. I'll send this all over to you. And then my story as well, right? We're going to go in a bit more detail about this later on in this lesson, but your story as we've gone through as well. This is one of the most important parts of the VSL. This is where you introduce yourself. There is a very specific way to do this though. So, I mean, we went through obviously my structure very quickly there, but you have to show the before of yourself before you were able to make that personal fitness transformation. This will allow you to resonate with your audience and tell your audience that you understand their pain points as you were once where they currently are right now, right? And then before you state will show the viewers that you've solved the problem that they are currently having, right? And subconsciously build trust between you and the viewer. Right. So as I said before, if you're posting content that only shows you absolutely shredded the whole time, people aren't going to resonate with that. Right. People want to resonate and see your journey. And that's what my story helps with. Right. And then case studies and social proof as well. Show your results that you've worked with other people. If you don't have them yet, you can leverage PT results or in-person results and skip over this part, right? As I said before, if you did do in-person personal training before, ask that person to send you a video or whatever, right? Or get some videos or anything you did previously, or even if you don't, use yourself, use family, right? Introduce yourself, introduce the case study, and proof the way you would introduce yourself. Show the before state of your case study and their after state, and say that they just followed the process and the system. Right, as we said before, you can literally check out mine that we went through, and this will isolate your process and system as a class of one because it's consistently capable of getting results for your clients. Right, so by following your system, they are going to get results. Right, they're going to get results. So you can destroy their pain points. You can say, look, by doing this, by doing X, Y, and Z, you're going to get to where you want to get to, and this will prove the viewer, right, and the buyers that you're not just capable of making the transformation yourself, but can also help other people. And this will further deepen their subconscious trust with you as an expert in your potential buyers, right? So this is super important, super important. And then the persuasion process as well. So what you're doing in the persuasion process is explaining why they haven't gotten good results or other methods, which I actually showed you as well, and why those methods are flawed and why yours are better, right? So you see how we went through reasons why they're not where they want to be. That's exactly what this section is, the persuasion process. And you want to throw rocks at the current solutions in the market and what your customers has likely already tried but failed. Things like restrictive dieting, weight training, calorie deficit, right? And just not staying consistent and things like that. And you're confirming their beliefs and siding with them, right? It's not their fault. They haven't seen results. The real issue is that they've been given a bad or wrong information, right? So tell them the hard truth as well. What they're currently doing to improve their health and fitness isn't working. And as I said before, we literally went through this on the VSL, was like, just explain, like, they wouldn't be where they would want to be if it was like, they wouldn't be coming to you if it was working already, right? Simple as that. So you got to explain that what they're doing is not working and they need to change something, and then now relate to them, right? The same methods you thought and would work for you didn't work for you, right? And explain how as soon as you got it personalized, you were able to move in the right direction, right? And you've been walking the exact same path as them, right? Trying to prove your fitness, and it didn't work for you either, right? And doing this exact process sets up the next section of the VSL beautifully, right? So the big realization and unique mechanism, right? We're now setting up the solutions. In the previous section of the VSL, we were throwing rocks at the enemies and amplifying their currents' pains, right? Making them feel like there's no way out. This is where you introduce your unique solution and progress. So, I mean, I showed you before, right? So you can kind of just use mine as an example, but you're basically presenting the solution, right? You're showing that this is what you give, this is what you can help them with, right? And it's very, very important that you introduce your unique mechanism through a story, right? A moment where you had a big realization as well, right? A moment where you discovered a new way to solve the problem that no one else was talking about, right? Your solution doesn't need to be completely new, but your storytelling must be very strong, right? Make it clear that without this solution, you would be stuck also, right? So by obviously using this unique mechanism, it feels completely different from the solutions you just attacked, right? And share your just share everything, right? As simple as that. Share you going through hard times, share you going through your transformations, share you when you were depressed and didn't want to wake up in the morning, right? Because people will resonate with that. And once you've proven it will work, right? Say you've now packaged this into a new solution, into a repeatable process, right? And this is where you introduce your names process, which is super, super, very, very important, right? This whole VSL, this is why this VSL is probably one of the longest parts of the whole video, is because it's super important, right? And give it a genuine, unique name, right? Something clear that's distinct and not gimmicky, right? For example, a dynamic fat burning process. Introduce it like, I created the dynamic fat burning process to help help you get closer to X and Y, right? Your dream physique. And then from there, you can kind of move on to the 3-step process, where introducing the 3-step process as 3-step process you would take if you were inside the one-to-one coaching, right? Now you want to package your unique mechanisms into 3 to 5-step process, right? This 3-step process is the exact step-by-step playbook that your potential clients follow to get real results, right? It must make sense also, right? You can't just make it random and say, look, you need to do this, this, and this, and you'll get there, right? You need to break it down into 3 to 5 steps, right? And know exactly what you're going to be giving them to fulfill their service, right? And you are now showing the process that they would be going through if they were to work with you, right? And you must only keep this 3-step process as attractive as possible, right? Keep it nicely looking, right? Have a look at mine. Obviously, I did the 6 fundamentals and things like that, but you can use mine as an example. But the main thing you need as well is case study, social proof, as we've already gone through as well for this section. So this basically confirms the viewer that your process actually works, right? Simple as that. So you basically need proof. Like anyone, like for you guys, if you want to work with me or if you want to work with someone else or whoever, right? You need proof that it actually works, right? And they've helped other people who are in a similar situation to you, right? And show the before and after state of where you were, right? To help them understand fully. And then results-based CTA, right? Give the call to action on how they can actually start working with you and start getting similar results as all the people in your case studies with your unique mechanism, right? This could be to message you, click a button to apply, etc. Right? As I said before, have your Calendly link or booking link in the description of your YouTube video. Have a call to action at the end of it also, or funnel them into your YouTube, Instagram DMs, And then from there, obviously, yeah, you can use this when saying a CTA, right? You could have, basically as an example here, if you want to solve X, then so you can get to Y, then DM me fit to get there, right? On Instagram, or follow the link in the description and I'll book on a call and I'll see you on there, right? So these little things at the end of the video will just help them funnel them into the right place. And by the end of the video anyway, they're going to trust you a lot if you've done it properly, so that they're most likely going to work with you, which is super important, right? So follow this. This was a long lesson, but make sure you write down all the details, get this going, right? And we're on to the next lesson. So let's go. Right, so in lesson 10, we're going to go through the YouTube accelerator, right? YouTube is OP if you're building any type of business, right? It is single-handedly the most powerful platform for client acquisition and building trust, right? And to build and scale up your fitness coaching business, or any business coach, any coaching business in general, right? YouTube is the go, like the go, right? You need to make sure you're running up your YouTube, right? So YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google, which owns YouTube, meaning that it gets the most volume of searches with people looking for answers to their problem, right? So YouTube is very, very good and is where everyone go for when they want information, right? And YouTube allows for more consumption of content, right? And more consumption equals more trust built up between you and your potential clients and audience. YouTube acts as another funnel to get more clients, right? We'll jump into this in a bit more detail and I'll show you later on in this lesson. So make sure to stick around. I'll just show you my Instagram and how it all works and stuff like that. But the goal here is to basically help you build trust and increase consumption of your content, right? To allow you to make easier sales on sales calls, right? Simple as that. So it's just like similar to short form and everything, but because you're doing long form, it just makes everything a whole lot more easier for you to nurture them. Because imagine they watch a 30-minute long video of you compared to a 15-second video of you, right? They're going to trust you more after a 30-minute one, right? Which is so important. And one of the main things you need to follow is the 7-11-4 rule, right? There was a study done by Google for Businesses where it analyzed how much marketing was required to turn someone from a cold viewer, or like someone who's viewed your stuff for the first time, to a piping hot buyer that is ready to buy with little to no objections, right? It takes approximately around 7 hours of content and consumption at 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms to turn a cold viewer to a buyer, right? So if you take that into an account, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, websites, VSLs, all these little things are going to help turn a cold buyer into a piping hot buyer, right? Which is why you must start using all of them as much as you can, right? But YouTube funnel, right? So YouTube, obviously, Instagram, general content, blah, 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 that goes into your YouTube VSL, free training, right? And then that goes into your DMs, right? And where you qualify them, figure out if they're good or not, and book a call and sale, right? Simple as that. Simple as that. It's not too complicated, right? So it's straightforward when you understand how it works, right? And look, the way when you make your YouTube content as well, right? There's a few different types. Obviously, follow the 3-pillar system that I went through in the last one of the last lessons. I'm not sure what lesson it was, but if you go through that and implement that into your YouTube, so show a bit of lifestyle, daily lives, things like that, and then you can run up Miro board videos. You can run up how you got someone from point A to point B. You can run up how people just genuinely got fitter, right? And how you took your transformation from point A to B, right? And then show that with your general content. And then obviously have your Calendly link or whatever in your description straight there, and then boom, right? Super, super simple. But here's just a overview of how it works. So you obviously have your Instagram content or general YouTube content, right? So then that obviously goes into your YouTube VSL, which is what I'm going to show in a second. And then landing page or direct to the calendar, or Instagram DMs, right? So as I mentioned before, so imagine you obviously come from the YouTube content, you see your short form, go into your bio, boom, now you're into the VSL. You watch the VSL, all right, cool. Now they go back into the DMs, give you a message, whatever. Or if you have a calendar link in the description of that YouTube video, they just go straight from here into here, right? So having these is super important. And then obviously from here, from both of these goes into book a call. Once they book a call, you're on a sales call. You want to make sure you catch up with them, make sure they do actually come on that call, right? Once they're on that call, then you have the sale, right? Super important. You have the sale. So, boom, and then they become one of your clients. Simple as that, right? Don't overcomplicate it. That's one thing I know a lot of people come around, and I did myself as well. When I was trying to figure everything out by myself, it was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? I need this, I need that, I need everything, I need this, I need that. You know what I mean? But if you get the right thing, you get the right formula, you show yourself, you build that trust with your audience. It's as simple as this, right? So simple once you get the hang of it. And then this is my YouTube funnel for my fitness coaching offer. So I'll show you quickly here. So as you can see, this is obviously my YouTube, my Instagram, sorry. Don't know why that is looking like that, but anyway, you can see the fitness side and everything there. You come here, you click on the link, and you've got my free training to business, and then obviously my fitness story, right? All you're gonna do is click on that, and it'll take you to the YouTube video, right? Simple as that. Take you to the YouTube video where you can basically get them to watch through the whole thing, right? And then at the end, obviously, as you can see here, you can get them to book a call. Right, so it goes all the way to the end as we went through in the last section, right? Book a call now, and then yeah, boom, simple as that, simple as that. Or they come back to the Instagram, but yeah, if that makes sense. Obviously, that's the YouTube funnel. I'm just making sure you guys can see me, but that's the YouTube funnel there, as you can see now. But now you understand obviously how it works and why it works and why it's important for you to implement. Now it's time for you to start implementing yourself. Right, so it's get to work, start posting your YouTube stuff, and start building trust with your audience, and you will get to where you want to get to eventually. Right, so run this up, and you will bring in clients, no doubt about it. Right, so in lesson 11, we're going to go through YouTube mastery. Right, kind of leading on from the last lesson, lesson 10. But the goal for this stage and for you is to understand the strategies behind creating YouTube videos that convert into money for your fitness coaching business. As I said before, YouTube is very, 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 very powerful, right? So if you get YouTube right, everything else will go right. So when you're picking your niche and building authority and identity, you need to make sure you're only talking to one person, not everyone, right? Because when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one, right? Remember that saying. And when someone told me that, I was thinking, that can't be right. Like I'm getting millions and millions of views, but I was making no money. And it made sense, to be honest, because as soon as I niched down, that's when I brought in good, high quality clients. And you want to create YouTube videos which talk to one specific ideal customer and talk to their biggest pain points, right? We don't want to create general YouTube videos which teach people how to exercise, as it's too general and doesn't target a specific pain point, right? When creating these videos, you must have some sort of credibility or proof. This means results for yourself or existing results for your clients, right? That you've solved that same problem for, right? Having that credibility does help a lot. So say you are a personal trainer who's trained hundreds of people, use that to your advantage. Or say you don't, right? Say you're just starting off, that's fine. Use yourself as proof of concept, right? Because you are, at the end of the day, people want to be working with you one-to-one, right? So you are what you're telling them, right? You've been through the situation they've been through, or you know bits that they don't know that you can help them with, right? So that is super, super important, right? And the flow creation, right? So number one, the idea creation, and nothing can save a bad idea. However, a strong idea could have every other element in your YouTube video go wrong, but still perform because it's a strong idea, right? So finding strong ideas, you can go through basically the biggest pain points or problems that your ideal customer wants, right? So for example, they could be struggling with burning fat, they could be struggling with energy levels, right? Figure out their main pain point and then dive deep into that. Or it could be they don't have enough energy for their kids to play with them each day, right? Dive into that and work with them on that. And then FAQs, right? That you get, right? So these FAQs you can use for video ideas and content creation as well. I do it all the time. If you see my stuff, you can see that I'm asking people to ask me questions online. I make them into videos, and from there it's just another video idea, right? And from there you just can't run out of ideas. And then objections that you get on sales calls also. I use this one a lot, right? So say you've got an objection on a sales call, or someone says, look, a very big one is, I don't have the money, right, to invest in myself. But what you could ask and what video you could make around that is, for example, like, how much does your dream physique cost for you? You know what I mean? You can ask them things like that to catch their attention, and you can make videos about it as well. Like how important your health is. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? And I say that a lot with my fitness coaching business at the time and everything like that, right? So, and also your desires that your ICP wants, right? So that just goes with, that kind of links in with everything else. But yeah, desires are very, very important. And then number 2, packaging, right? Before we go ahead and create the video itself, we want to ensure that we can produce strong packaging. This means the title and thumbnail are on top, right? Obviously, thumbnail is a little bit different for short form. You still need a thumbnail, which would definitely help, but a title for like YouTube is very important. And we can find good ideas of packaging through a process I like to call packaging farming, right? And I'm going to quickly show you what I use and how you guys can use it as well. And I'll send this all to you guys. So if you guys want what I'm about to show you, the tracking sheets and everything, just DM me tracking on Instagram, and I'll send it over to you right away. So basically, number 1, you need to download your VIDIQ and get the video outlier score, right? Go on YouTube feed and find YouTube videos that have high outlier scores relative to the channel. Find videos that are outside of your niche and haven't been overused also, right? There's a few ways I can show you on another video. I've actually gone through this, but for this, like, if you go on your YouTube feed, you can actually see the outlier score once you've obviously downloaded it. But I will make a whole another video on this. But once you've downloaded this, then you can see all the video outlier scores, see which ones you've done the best and which ones you can use and what haven't been overused, right? And then create a database on Google Sheets or Notion of the outlier. You can leverage our one here, right? So as you can see right here, this is something you guys can use. So you get the link to that video, niche, YouTube, outlier score, you just chuck in there, and then chosen idea, right? You can just come here, you can put ticket, you can put everything in, right? Everything you need in order to just keep track of what exactly it is and what kind of idea you're after, right? Which is so important, especially if you're trying to keep everything on the right path and moving in the right direction. And then choose the best outlier title that aligns with your idea, right? And then copy the title, but change the niche / concept to your niche or market, right? So that's super important as well. And I do say this with a lot. There's a lot of very good ideas out there, right? So you don't have to go around and try and figure out the next big thing. Use what's worked for other people, and then slightly tweak it, slightly adjust it, make it into your own thing, right? And then from there, it will still blow up and it will look good, as long as you do everything that they've done well and implement it into your stuff. And then from there, you can just work on that and build it up over time. And then number 3, we can make simple edits on our videos, but also convey professionalism. Do not overcomplicate raw videos unless you have a high, do not do completely raw. Sorry. That's another thing I want to go on to in a second, but don't do completely raw videos unless you have high existing authority and status in the space, right? I've got authority in the status. I can do that, right? Other guys in trading, I've seen, like, I know there's a guy called TJR, and he honestly just does raw stuff, but he can do that because he's done a lot of stuff in the past and he's got that authority, right? I've got my authority in the fitness niche as well, so I can do that, right? For you guys, it might be a little bit different. So make sure it's good quality and it makes sense. And also, back onto my last point, right, is you don't have to overcomplicate it either, right? Actually, that goes on to here, actually, as I mentioned in here, but you also don't want to do high production, high editing videos, as it will cost a lot of money and a lot of time, right? Which is not ideal for our type of content, especially if you're trying to get 2 to 3 pieces out a day, even 5 at some point, right? So keeping it nice and steady and good quality will definitely help, will 100% help. And then posting as well. Ensure to post it during the time that your ideal customer will be actively utilizing YouTube, right? So YouTube video structure. So introduction under 30 to 45 seconds, right? Confirming the click, confirm that this is the right video that they clicked on from the title and thumbnail. Then you have the hook. Tell them exactly what they'll get out of this video, right? So the goal of the video, and then add credibility. Why they should listen to you, right? Why should they listen to you? Because I've helped Jeremy go from skinny, unconfident, and weak to strong, powerful, and confident, right? You can use these, and obviously you can even use yourself, right? Show yourself as that to why people should listen to you, because you got out of a really, really tough situation and now you're thriving, right? And then open a loop slash create a question in their mind. Create a question in their mind that causes them to want to stay in the video because they know you'll answer it later, right? So little things like that. So saying, look, I mean, you could even say, look, stay for the whole video in order to find this out, right? Obviously, people might think, oh, I don't want to stay. But if you if you give something to get them thinking right at the beginning, then they're going to stay. They're going to enjoy it a little bit more because they're waiting, right? They're waiting for that point to drop. And then establish why you are different also. Do you have a better results, faster results, only one to do it? Or what's your mission, right? Talk about what makes you different. Talk about that, and then people will resonate you a bit more and trust you a bit more because you're not just like every other ordinary fitness coach out there, right? And then bulk of the video, deliver value straight away. Go right into what you are teaching. Don't hold back on the value. Create open loops throughout the video. So create questions in their mind which you will answer later in the video. So always keep them thinking, keep it specific, and talk about your personal encounters in the situations as well, right? As I said before, keep it relatable, right? Keep it how you went through this phase of struggle and you come out the other side. And from there, you will build that authority and that relatability, which is so, so important. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Make sure you start incorporating YouTube into your stuff. And from there, you will see ridiculous results. So give it a go and run to the next lesson. Right, so in lesson 12, we're going to go through appointment setting foundations, right? Appointment setting is one of the parts in your funnel that is also going to be a make or break, right? If your appointment setting is poor and you're not basically nurturing your clients and getting to know them and figuring out if they're qualified or not, then you're just going to waste your time and they're just not going to be ready for the sales call once you jump on it, right? So you need to make sure you have your appointment setting good, right? It needs to be good. And appointment setting is a process of basically reaching out to your potential customers from people that come inbound or outbound to your content, right? So inbound equals leads who reach out for your help at first. So people who message you, I don't know, say for me or for a few of my clients, I know they have fit, right? DM me fit for one-to-one coaching, right? That's an inbound lead who reached out to you first. Then a warm outbound is leads who like, follow, and comment on your content, right? So they're warm, and I do this with all my clients as well. So make sure anyone likes or follows you or likes your stories, give them a message. Be like, yo, bro, thanks for the like. I appreciate it. How's everything going? And just build rapport from there, right? Nurture them, simple as that. And then your goal here is to start and engage a conversation, to schedule a meeting with a sales closer or business owner, you, right, specifically. So that's the main goal of this stage, is to obviously get them on board to a point where obviously you've nurtured them, you figured out if they're qualified or not, you book them on the call, and then you're on the call with them, right? Simple as that. And then the goal here is to not just sell to them directly, but to qualify the leads, right? Make sure they're a good fit, as I just said before, and book them into a call where you actually try and sell them and bring them onto your program, right? I don't like the word sell. You're helping them and they decided to join you, but you basically convinced them that you are a good fit. And it's a crucial step as it helps you consistently speak to interested prospects without wasting time on unqualified people, right? I can say it very confidently that jumping on calls with people who just aren't qualified is a nightmare, right? The only reason why I would say to do it at the beginning is to get good at sales, right? Start taking on people look, if you can get a 50 quid deposit down from someone, do it, right? As long as you don't have to do any work in the back end, like get something and just practice your sales skills at the beginning, right? Super important. Practice, practice, practice. And then from there, you will get better, right? You will get a lot better, trust me. And the majority of your leads will come from warm outbound, right? We never want to do cold outbound, right? I know guys who do it and guys who absolutely just go ham on it, right? And they do well. Like some of them do very well, but you're probably close 1 out of 1,000, right? So it's very, very slim chance of closing them. compared to warm and inbound leads, right? So this is the flow of how appointment setting works as well. And look, once you're at a point as well, so I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, look, what do I do when I'm making 5-10K a month? Like, I don't really want to be doing all this and messaging, right? That's where you bring the setter. And with all my clients and stuff, we have a done for you. So we actually implement setters into your business. If you need closers as well, we do that for you. So you don't need to worry. And that right there, I mean, I've had a setter from honestly almost day one. And it just helps you with time. Just saves you so much time, which is so useful, especially down the line, right? So cold outbound is, oh wait, actually before we jump onto that, so the way it works is obviously your content, right, slash traffic, and then they like, comment, and follow you. You obviously give them a message, say yo bro, or if they DM you, then you qualify them and then you book the call, right? Simple as that. Nothing too complicated right there. And then appointment setting logic, right? So cold outbound equals, we never do this. Like, we honestly, I don't recommend anyone do this, but this is where you basically reach out to prospects who don't follow or engage with any of your content, right? These are the hardest people to convert into buyers, right? You can do it. If you want to go on a madness and you just message every single person, do it, right? You might get a few in here and there, start a conversation with a few here and there. I know a few techniques as well, right? So I'll give you one. So I don't know, go on your local gym's Instagram and see the people we're following and give each of them a message, right, on Instagram, and obviously start a conversation from there, and then follow the script, talk to them like a normal person, and try and get them on a call after a few days or a few weeks, right? And then inbound leads reach out to you first for help in the DMs, which is honestly, they are the best. They are the best. And warm outbound, as I said already, these are leads who engage with you, right? This may mean they like your videos or like your story, they follow you or they comment on your content, right? Reach out to them. You must reach out to them. And then obviously the inbound stuff. Right, so in lesson 13, we're going to go through the setting script breakdown, right? This is a similar script that I use within my company, which you guys can have access to inside 3TM prompts, which I will send you guys. So if you guys want the prompts and everything there, and the script, just DM me script, right? And I'll send you through the setting script that I'm about to run through. But the way you'd want to do it and the way you'd structure everything for obviously setting your guys and getting them on calls, you basically open with a story, reaction, or relatable DM based on their current content, right? So if they're a private account, use content interaction or follow based DM, right? If they give you a follow, try and reach out to them, or just comment on a post, comment on a something, right? And obviously, if they're private and they're not following you, you can't see their stuff. But if they are, then look, say something, give them a message, and then keep convo casual while steering towards fitness, right? This is very, very important, right? Just talk to them like a normal person. Talk to them like they're just like one of your friends, you know what I mean, in a way, and just give them a bit of help, give them a bit of advice, and just gain that trust, and then transition into fitness naturally. No random pivots. Don't just go, right, so are you ready to start your fitness journey? From when you were just talking about dogs, right? So kind of build into it and build yourself into just like a normal conversation, really. And then dig into their goals and reasons for wanting to improve as well. So the more things you can find about them, to be honest, in the DMs before they jump on a call with you or your closer, the more chance of closing them you're going to have, because you're going to know more about them. You're going to know exactly what they want and what they need to improve on. So you can give them everything before you can have everything in your head before they jump on the call, right? Which is even better. And then identify current struggle or what's been holding them back, right? So these bits you would obviously ask them as well on the sales call, but if you can figure out what has been holding them back the past 5 years, right? What are they currently struggling with? These things are going to help you nurture them and understand them even more. So when you do get on the call, from there you're literally gonna know most of their life because they would have opened up, right? And then obviously once you're on the call as well, you would ask them even more, diving even deeper into their pain points, which is super important to do. And then qualify their level. Are they a beginner, intermediate, lost progress, etc., right? Have they been to the gym before, or except, like, you know what I mean? So figure out where they're at figure out where they're at. And that just goes down to nurturing them and just talking to them and finding more about them, right? And then offer value as well, and a free call to map out their plan, right? Say, yo, bro, let's jump on a free call and we'll go through everything together. Don't you worry, got it all sorted, right? And then look, you get them on the call, talk to them, give them a free plan, give them a free little roadmap or whatever, right? Nothing too specific. Talk to them about it, talk to them how it work, and then book the call in a low pressure way, right? I'll show you in a second the way you can use a script that I'll send you guys anyway. So make sure you just stick around because I'll go through it all for you guys, just so you can understand it. And then book the call in a low pressure way, right? Send them your VSL, send them a few things, your YouTube videos, in order to just basically nurture them even more. Simple as that. And then script flow. So here's an example of how it works. So for public story opener, if you can see their story, highlights, etc., just say, yo, whether let's say, yo, John, that hiking trail looks unreal. What is that? I've been trying to get out more. I've been trying to get out more lately, right? So these little things, just like you're kind of just starting a conversation. You know what I mean? Trying to get a bit of advice or whatever, right? And the same thing here. Yo, John, love that hoodie. Is that a local brand? I've been on a hunt for better gym gear lately, right? You can, like, little things like that. Or if someone says, I don't know, if someone's got the same religion or they post something about you or something you can just resonate with and have a conversation about, then that's always very good. And if they're a private account, but they follow you or whatever, you can just give them a message, say, yo, John, appreciate the follow. What made you jump on board today? Right? Always curious. What caught your eye? Right? You know what I mean? These things, just like, you can just build conversation. Like, why did you follow me? It's great. I really appreciate it, bro. But just always curious, bro. And then from there, you can just figure it out. They might just drop it straight away and be like, oh, bro, I just see you were motivating me a lot recently, always popping up on my feed, and I just thought, yeah, this guy could definitely help me. And then from there, you can just start talking to them like normal, and then get them on that call, right? And here's another one. Yo, John, thanks for dropping a like on my reel. Curious, what type of fitness content do you usually enjoy? Right, you're just starting conversations, right? It's quite self-explanatory, but just so you guys know. And in a casual conversation, right, build trust. They will reply with something casual. They won't reply if you go something just blurting out, right? People want to talk to just people. They don't want to be asked questions the whole time. So you could even say like a casual conversation to build trust and go, yo, bro, that's dope. I've been dialing things in more lately, trying to stay consistent with training and nutrition. You know what I mean? So little things like this. And if that's them, then you could also say, yo, you into gym at all, or more into staying active with like life and hiking and sport, bro? You know what I mean? Just casual conversations, nothing too specific, right? But you could honestly do anything. And then 4, obviously transitioning into fitness, right? So the transitioning phase is, as I said before, it needs to be smooth, nice and smooth. So, I mean, you could just say, nice, how are you working towards anything in particular, or are you just trying to build better habits and feel better overall, right? Either way, they're going to tell you something if you ask a question like this, right? And look, they might say they go to the gym or they did a bit of both before. Build a conversation out of that, right? Simple as that. And then find their why, right? This is something that all of you guys need to figure out before they get on the call. Figure out their why, right? Their emotional driver, right? So if you can attach and if you can get close to their emotions, then they're going to be more inclined to work with you, because you can resonate with them. People buy off emotion, right? That's one thing you guys got to realize, especially in sales of anything, right? You go to Nike, you go to, I don't know, Harrods, right? You want to buy something because it makes you feel good or you like that, right? It's all off emotions, right? And a good example here is say, gotcha. If you don't mind me asking, what's the main thing that's pushing you towards improving your fitness right now, right? Figuring out their why, their pain points. These all do help. And then number 6, understand the challenge, right? You can say something like, yeah, I totally agree with that. Would you say the hardest part of staying consistent? What would you say the hardest part of staying consistent is, or just not knowing what to do and when? Is that an issue, right? These little things you can just understand and just be understandable, right? People don't want to work with someone they don't like. So if you can be a likable person, someone who generally seems like they're interested in their health, which you should be if you're a fitness coach, right? Then they're gonna be more inclined to work with you. Simple as that. And then another thing, qualifying their level, right? This is super important as well, just to make sure you know where they're at. You need to qualify them. So yeah, that makes sense. Would you call yourself more of a beginner, starting fresh, or have you had momentum in the past and just want to get back to it? Right? Figuring out these things to see where they're at with their fitness and health can help you understand them a little bit more. And then obviously figuring out if they got a job, if that hinders their progress and things like that as well. Right? And figuring out if they're qualified or not. Right? So qualify their level as in fitness, then you can also qualify their pocket. Simple as that, if you put it that way. So yeah, if you qualify them, see if they got a job or anything, then you jump on the call, get them on a call. And then number 8, offer the call with no value, no pressure, right? Honestly, I've helped a bunch of people in that same boat. If you're cool with it, I can put together a quick game plan tailored to where you're at and where you want to go, right? Or you could say, yeah, we could quickly jump on a call this week, totally free, just to give you some structure. What's your schedule like, right? Asking little things like this are just going to help you gain that trust even a bit more, right? People hate being sold to. So if you're gonna give them a bit of info and get them hyped up and motivated, then people will happily jump on the call with you, right? So this is very important, and you must start implementing this into your business, the way you're talking to people if you want to sign guys, right? So if you guys want this, as I said before, if you want the prompts and everything, the script, just DM me script on Instagram and I'll send it through to you now. Right, so in lesson 14, we're going to go through sales calls, right? And this is honestly a make or break. And I do say this a lot, right? If you don't get this part right, nothing, it won't go right, right? Because at the end of the day, this is where you've done all the hard work. You've done the marketing, you've done the funneling, you've done everything, right? Now you're on a sales call. And this is going to basically determine whether you're going to make the money or you're not, right? Simple as that. And so what is actually a sales call? This is the actual conversation where you connect with a potential client to show them how your product or service solves their problem, right? The sales call is where you build trust, answer questions, and guide them towards making a decision, right? Simple as that. Simple as that. So you want to help them, you want to educate them on exactly what you offer them and how you can help them and build a bit of hype around it, and then obviously sell them, right? And there's 2 different types of sales calls. So you can do a 1 call close, right? Or you can do a 2 call close. Better if you're new, right? So a 1 call close means you handle everything, building a report, presenting your offer, and closing the deal all in a single sales call, right? It's faster, but you need to be skilled in sales to guide a prospect to close in 1 call, right? And then a 2 call close splits. The process is in 2 steps, as it says in the name, right? And then the first call is basically to qualify and build interest, and the second call is to handle objections and close the sales call, right? And close the sale, sorry. And this is recommended if you are new to sales, right? For myself, I did a few, but I just jumped in the deep end, right? It's totally up to you. But a good thing about basically a 2 call close is you basically teach them, you understand, you get them to build rapport, you hype them up a bit, they go away, think about it, realize actually how much they need your help, and then obviously in the next call you tell them the price. You never tell them the price on the first call, then you tell them the price on the second, hopefully get them back in, and yeah, you'll be sweet. But you can tell them on the first call just to let them think about it. But in my opinion, especially with fitness clients and B2C sort of stuff, it's best to do a 1 call close, right? Because what you can do is you can build up that rhythm throughout the call, build up that hype, and then by the time you say the price, they're so gassed up, they're so hyped, they're so excited to change their life that they want to give you the money. They want to do it, right? So that's the main thing, right? That's the main thing. So that is going to be super important, especially if obviously you're trying to get them on board as quick as possible, right? But don't rush these things as well. Don't rush. If you need to give them time, you've got to give them time. But the best thing to do, especially with fitness, is that 1 call sales, right? So 1 call close, which is super important. But one thing to note as well, never follow a script word for word with sales calls, right? Absolutely never follow, never, ever, ever, right? If you sound like a robot on the call, they're going to realize, they're going to clock, right? So you don't want to sound like a robot. yeah, just don't sound like a robot. Simple as that. Simple as that. And then, so the way you want to structure it is basically in the first stage, you want to build a rapport and warm up the clients, right? The goal is to make them feel comfortable, like they're talking to a coach, not a salesman, right? Just talk to them, ask them about, I don't know, you see the painting in the background or whatever, right? Talk to them about how their job's going or whatever, right? Just like make them feel comfortable, make them feel like they're just chatting to you and like your friends in a way, right? Because you have been talking to each other for a while before you jumped on that call. I'm guessing if you close them, if you got them on call from the DMs and Instagram, right? And then number two, frame the call, right? Set the tone, let them know what to expect, right? So something you can go, cool. So the purpose of this call is to learn more about your goals, your struggles, and where you want to go. If I feel like I can help you, bro, I'll walk you through what that would look like. Sound good? Right? You don't have to follow that word for word. You can switch it up yourself, right? I mean, there's a few other ways you can go around it. Like, I mean, you could even keep it even simpler. You're like, all right, look, bro, this is. I mean, look, I know you haven't got much time, and time is one thing you can't get back. So let's just jump straight into it, bro. You ready? Right? That's another way you can transition from the report side into framing it into the discovery phase, right, and identifying their goal. So obviously, once you got that yes, right, the more yeses you get, the more chance they're going to buy, right? So that's one you got to think about. The more yeses they say, the more chance they're going to work with you, right? It's just an unconscious thing, but it's very important that you do this, right? So number three, identify the goal, right? 5 to 8 minutes takes you. Find exactly what they want and why, right? So, for example, what made you book this call today, just out of interest, bro? Or what's the goal you're trying to achieve right now? I mean, it sounds like you've got a few big goals, bro. So, what is it? Tell me. And then, why is it important to you? That's another thing you can ask. Why? So, I mean, you mentioned you want to get fat and get fit. Sorry, you don't want to get fat. You mentioned you want to get fit. You want to burn fat, right? But I mean, that's great. But why is it actually important to you, bro? Then you get something out of them even more. Then you can dive deeper into that, and then dive deeper. So if they say, all right, cool. I mean, it's important to me because my confidence is going to increase. All right. So, but why do you want to be more confident? Like, why? Oh, because I mean, I got bullied in school. Boom. You just got a pain point. You got something from them that, like, I don't know, that they just didn't feel very comfortable about. And the more you deep, the more you actually find out exactly why they want to get fit, right? He just told you there that he got bullied, right, because he was overweight. So that's something you can dig deep on. And it's obviously different for different people, but even if you're a grown adult, right, and you're overweight, you're getting bullied, that's something you can talk about. And like anything like that, right? And I did say it here, dig deep, get into their emotional reasons behind the goal, confidence, energy, showing up for their kids, right? This one's huge. I've signed a bunch of guys purely because they just they just get back from a long day of work and they just have no energy to spend time with their kids and they absolutely hate it, right? That's something you can really dive deep on and do it. You can mention that as well, right? And then number four, explore their struggles. So you're still kind of like in the discovery phase. So I mean, you can find out what's holding them back. Ask them what's stopping them from hitting their goals. Right? Ask them, have they ever tried anything in the past and like what happened? Right? These things, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you can do this alone? Right? If they say that you want to keep it, you want to make sure they can make like they don't. At the end of the day, they're not jumping on the call with you if they don't feel like they can do it by themselves, right? So, and you shouldn't be. If they are, then you've clearly not qualified them wrong in the DMs. So, you obviously want to figure out how confident they are in themselves and what they've tried in the past and dig on that, right? You can still dig deep on that, right? And your job here is to listen and repeat back their struggles, right? Repeat back. Okay, so you didn't go through this, he didn't give you that. I mean, look, that's the great thing about my program, right? I don't just chuck you a workout plan, I don't just chuck you a meal plan. I've actually built a system that will be designed for you to not just get you to where you want to get to, right? But it would also improve your life a year, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, right? And that's something that my program gives you that I would confidently say no one else has done, right? And by you giving that confidence and showing that authority, people are going to be more inclined to work with you, right? And then future pacing as well, right? 2 to 4 minutes, right? The goal of here is to paint a picture of what their life could look like with your coaching, right? You want to paint a picture in their head. You want them to imagine themselves looking absolutely shredded, looking like Superman, looking like the Greek god, right? And one thing you can ask is, if we were work together and you hit that goal in the next 90 days, what would your life look like? Right? How would that feel? Or you could even say, one I like to use sometimes is, I mean, bro, say we were to get this started, bro, and got you hitting every goal. How would your life look? What would your life look like in the next 6 months? Or what would success look like to you in the next 6 months? Right? Let them imagine their transformation. Imagination can generally be the make or break to whether you sign them or not, right? So build that. It helps you build that desire. Simple as that. And then you transition into your offer, right? Ask them for permission to present your coaching, right? So you say, based on everything you've told me, I'd love to share what I do and how I might be able to help you. How does that sound, right? Wait for them to say yes, then go into the offer, right? Present your coaching offer. So this is where you'd have your deliverable sheet. You'd show them exactly what you're giving them step by step so they can see it, right? You can also run through it at the same time to give even more detail, build that trust and build that rapport. And then from there, obviously, just explain, right? So the goal of here is to help you lose X, feel better, and build your habits to stick with you for years to come, right? And then you can kind of ask them, so, bro, I mean, is this something you want my help with? And most of the time, if you've gone through it properly, they go, yeah, 100%, man. I need your help. I won't be jumping on this call. And if they do, then all right, cool. So, I mean, then you jump into the price and close, right? So this takes about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on if they got any objections or not, right? We're going to jump into the objection stage in the next lesson. But if you guys want this script to use, just DM me script on Instagram and I will send it over to you boys and girls, whoever's watching this. And then from there, obviously, right, now into the price and close. So in the price and close section, you basically state your price confidently and handle any objections. But the main trick here is, once you've said let's say the investment for the full 12 weeks is $997, right? And that includes everything we just talked about. The trick here is to just go completely quiet, right? Don't say anything. The first one to talk loses. That's the way I see it, right? I see it as a game. The first one to talk loses that, right? So keep calm, be a coach, not a closer, right? At the end of the day, they might come back with a few objections. If you've done it very well, then they're not. They're not. They might say a few things here and there. They might ask you whether you can break this down. If they do say you can break this down, a line I like to use is, well, I mean, look, bro. I mean, if you're gonna have to like sell all your clothes, sell your house, move out, and move to a different place, then I'm more than happy to help you out, bro. Right? That's one line you can use. But and then you can say, yeah, but we do pay in full. Right, and then they get some thinking. It gets like, all right, cool. So I have to pay in full. And if you really can't, then that's when you break it down. You go to half. You maybe go to monthly, depending on how long you're pitching. But always pitch the longest first and the highest first, because then you can gradually build down. And then confirm an onboarding call. Right, so if they say yeah, let's do it, get them booked in, send them payment link, remind them that, look, we'll get you on another call in 24 hours. Right, walk them through the next steps. Send them the onboarding stuff, get them booked in, and then from there, right, get them to fill out the questions, send them a few things to do before the onboarding call, and then from there you have the onboarding call, go through everything and fulfill them, right? But yeah, that's the main thing. But make sure, obviously, speak 80-20, let them talk for 8% of the time, right? The more you speak, the less you know, right? The less you know. So let them speak. Just let them speak. And whatever they say, you can write down. Have a little notepad. And that's another trick as well. Have a notepad and pen. Act like, all right, act like you're listening. Kind of look at them on the screen, nod, yeah, okay, write it down. Okay, cool. Like these things, these are just small details you might not think about, but do make a huge difference in sales calls, right? And then actively listen, as I said, right? It looks like you're actively listening, build and rush. Don't rush to pitch, understand them first, and just be a human, right? You're a coach, not a robot. At the end of the day, you're not AI, right? Not yet anyway. So make sure you're doing it this way, and you will close a lot of deals, right? So on to the next one, where we're going to go through lesson 15. We're going to go through objection handling, right, which is going to be very, very important, especially for the sales section. So yeah, if you guys want this, I will send you through all the prompts and everything. So DM me script on Instagram and I'll send it through to you there. Right, so in lesson 15, we're going to go through objection handling, right? And what exactly is objection handling? And this is leading on from our last lesson in lesson 14, right? So this part is, obviously it says in its name, handling objections, right? So objection handling is where you confront doubts or concerns of a potential client during a sales call. It's how you listen to their questions, clear up misunderstandings, and show why your offer is still the right fit for them, right? A lot of the time, objections are smoke screens and hide from the real reason, right? People don't want to tell you these things purely because they just don't feel comfortable with it. So they start making up excuses like, I need to speak to my wife, blah, blah, blah. But if you can get them and be like, look, at the end of the day, it's your life. I mean, we'll go into the objection handling, so make sure to stick around for this video anyway. So we'll go down in a second. But I'll go through a few objection handles that a lot of people say, right? So a lot of the time, objections are just smoke screens, right? And it's your job to find the real reason and handle it on the call, right? If you cannot handle objections, you will struggle to make money. Simple as that, right? So if you can handle them, you'll be sweet. And the 4 pillars of objections. So most objections fall under 4 umbrellas, right? With each person having their own reason for it. So one's price, one's trust and fear, right? Another one's desire and need, and then one's problem, right? Urgency, right? So a few objections that you're going to be hit with are right here. So one of them, I need to think about it. Just the absolute typical. You get this with anything, right? I need to think about it, right? What it really means is they're unsure, or maybe they just don't fully trust the program or themselves, right? A lot of the time, it's going to be themselves if you've gone through everything properly and you've showed them everything, right? So how do you handle it? Just like you can. The trick with all of these things as well is just being understanding, right? You can be like, yeah, bro, I totally get that. Just so I can help. What specifically do you feel unsure about? Is it the program itself, or the timing, or something else? Right? Ask them a few questions, figure out what it actually is. And the goal here is to get the real hesitation, right? Help them talk it out, not delay it, right? The more people talk, as I said, 80-20, get them to talk more, right? Another one, I can't afford it. I can't afford the program, right? What it really means is they're not 100% convinced it's worth the money, right? Most of the time. Or sometimes they just generally can't afford it, but those are the ones you need to obviously figure out before they jump on the call and figure out where they're at. Simple as that. And then how to handle it. So you can say, yeah, I totally understand. Can I ask, if money weren't an issue, like just put money to the side, bro. Don't think about it. Would this be something you want to move forward with? Right? If they say yes, be like, oh, cool. So it sounds like it's something you want. It's just financially timing. It's like it's financially timing thing, right? So if I could help, if I could offer like a payment plan or split into 2-3 payments, would that help? Most of the time they're gonna go, yeah, bro, that sounds a lot better, right? And a bonus tip here is to show the real cost, right, of not solving their problem. Gym fees, fad diets, time wasted, right? If you can show them that, look, by not investing in this, you're gonna have a lot of other problems down the line, right? And then another one, right? I don't have the time right now, right? This one, I love this one. I get everyone this one. Everyone who has objected me with something like time, it's always, it's quite an easy one, right? Similar to the last two, but what it really means is they don't believe they can fit it in or stick with it, right? And that's where you jump onto the accountability side. You say your program is the number one program, and you take accountability the most serious out of everything, right? Because you do, right? You should do, especially if you're trying to build a good quality fitness business. You need to make sure the accountability is there, right? Simple as that. And then how to handle it. So yeah, that makes sense. Life gets busy. How much time do you think you need each week to start making progress? Ask them, right? Then they tell you a number, right? Then explain the plan is built around busy people. So most workouts are 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week, and you'll get a plan that fits around your schedule. So you don't need to worry. And that's another thing you would say and show in your deliverable sheet, right? So I mean, I don't have this objection much, to be honest, but when I do, it's quite easy to come back with, right? And another one I would use here is just explain how you've worked with someone else before who was in an exact same similar situation to you, but what you did with them was you ended up only getting them in the gym 3 times a week, and they saw the same amount of results as someone who was going 5 to 6, right? So it's all based around you, and we would go through that on your onboarding call, bro. So you don't need to worry. That's another one you can use, right? And then another one, right? So let me check with my partner. Another banger, right? An absolute another banger. They want permission or support before spending, right? Be like, I totally get it. Just out of curiosity, do you think they'd support you investing in something that helps your health and confidence? Most of the time, they're going to say yes, right? Especially if it's their partner close to them, right? And if they say yes, say great. It would help if I gave you a quick summary and could show them, right? You could even show them, to be honest, right? And pro tip here is to offer to jump on a quick call with both of them if needed, right? But most of the time as well, like it's gonna be a waste of time. Some of them might even come back with another objection from that, right? They say, "Oh, my partner's not with me. He or she is back at I don't know, like 7 p.m. tonight, and it's only like 2 p.m. right now. I've got to wait." So what you could do is another one you can go into. You can mention how would your partner be happy if they realized you invested in your health and fitness and they actually saw progress and your life got a whole lot better? Would your partner be happy with that? Most of the time they're going to say yes. You just got another yes. Right? I remember from the last lesson we mentioned that the more yeses that you get, the more inclined they're to close, right? So you keep getting yeses, and then from there you can keep moving forward with the program, right? And with the objection handling. And then another one, right? I've tried coaching before and it didn't work. Right? What it really means is they're scared to fail again or waste money. And this one's super valid, right? You can just say that. You say, bro, that's super valid. What do you feel was missing last time? Figure out what was missing last time, how your program's better and how it fixes all of these issues, right? Let them talk, and then you can explain how your coaching fixes that, just like I just explained there. And then you say, thanks for sharing that. So that's exactly why I do X, Y, and Z, weekly check-ins, group calls, daily support, so you're never stuck or left on your own, right? Mention how important accountability is, right? Say something like, look, imagine I could give you the best workout plan, the best gym program in the world, but if you don't do it, then it doesn't matter. And that's exactly why the accountability side is my number one priority with every single one of my clients, right? Simple as that. And you can just dive into it and they'll be like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. And then another one, right? I'll do it when I'm more ready, right? What it really means is they don't feel confident or they're procrastinating. And that's something you can dive into, right? Especially if they've told you a lot of things as well. And the good things about the objections as well, you can link them back to the discovery phase, right? So in the discovery phase, you figured out their pain points. Say, for example, for this one, that's the reason why they're not where they are, and they said it to you already, is purely because they procrastinate and think about it too much, right? And if they say, I'll do it when I'm more ready, that's something you can dive into. Just give them a realization, bro. Sometimes you just need to get onto them. I know guys who honestly get onto their clients and just put them in their place because some of them need it, especially if their health is not there. Because at the end of the day, health is wealth. You need your health to have a good life in general, right? So one way to handle it, you can say, yeah, I get that, but let me ask, how long have you been thinking about making a change, right? Then this one here, they say, oh, they say 2 years or even 3 months. You go 3 months. Oh my gosh, you've been thinking about it for 3 months. You haven't made a change. Like then that puts them in their place, bro. You know what I mean? Then that puts them in their place. They're like, oh, okay. And then from there you can keep moving forward. And another one you could say is most people wait for the perfect moment, but real results come from starting before you're ready with support. Right, there's loads of different ways you can get around this, but these are two of the main ones that I use and you guys can use also, and a lot of other people use as well. But objection handling is something. So if you guys want this full thing, just give me a message script. I'll send this with the sales as well, the sales script as well. But don't follow this like word for word, as I said before, right? This is only there to guide you, right? And another thing I would say is to just absolutely just learn this to the T, right? Smash this out, memorize every single objection that you're going to get, And so you can just get it like that, right? So objections, objection handling, and just get good at sales. And from there, you won't even need a script. You won't even need this up in front of you, right? It'll just be at the top of your head. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. If you guys need that, just send me a DM on Instagram. Script, I'll send it over to you. So yeah, lesson 16, let's get it. Right, so and last but not least, service delivery, right? Lesson 16. So in service delivery, this is probably one of the main parts as well, right? They all are very important, but this is probably definitely up there with, I'd say, the top 3 main parts. Because if your service is bad, if your fulfillment's bad, then you're just going to get chargebacks and people are not going to want to work with you, right? Simple as that. So how to give your clients a great experience so they stay and refer you to others, right? Word of mouth is the best form of bringing in clientele, right? Simple as that, because other people trust other people, and if they said you are good, then they're going to trust that person more than if you try convincing them, right? So having a good service, having a good product is very, very good. So number 1, nail the onboarding experience. First impressions set the tone. Send a welcome message right after they join. Deliver their plan within 24 to 48 hours. Include a clear start checklist so they know what to do, right? Invite them into the Discord, WhatsApp group immediately, or set their first call, check-in in date during the onboarding call, right? So give them a date for the next call that you're going to check in with them, right? And obviously a few instant action steps, right? As soon as they've on my Notion, I have exactly what they need to do first in order to get started and move forward, right? So why it matters as well is it just shows professionalism, right? And it builds trust very early on, right? And then number 2, stay consistent with weekly check-ins. Don't wait for them to reach out, right? You need to follow up. You need to give them a message each day, right? And give them personal feedback. Send them an audio call, like a voice note or a video reply. These are very powerful ways of just gaining that trust and giving that personal feedback. And then celebrate small wins as well. Celebrate them losing that 1 kg of fat. Celebrate them going on that 5K run or walk, right? These things do build up, and the more little bits of pushes you give them, the more inclined they're going to work hard, right? Because they have that little push and they know you're watching them, as simple as that. And then adjust the plan when they need and tell them why, right? So tell them why you adjusted it and tell them why it's important, right? And you can go over this on your one-to-one calls with them, group calls. If they need anything changed, change it, right? Don't wait. And then just reply, send them a message saying why you've changed it and why you need to, right? And then here's obviously just a quick example of just me just checking with a few clients. Awesome, keep smashing it. Thanks, bro. How's everything going? Yeah, I'm fine. Right, that was actually yesterday, and the next day I asked them again. Right, and why this matters, because it shows you're invested and it keeps them engaged. Right, you got to keep them engaged. You got to keep them motivated and wanting to improve. Right, because it's very, very important that they also stay motivated. Because one is they'll get good results, and once they get good results, there'll be good testimonials, and there'll be good testimonials. And as we said before, they might refer to a friend, right? So then it increases your business, increase your clientele, and then once obviously you get more sales, more testimonials, you can use that to build trust with other people, bring more clients, run ads, whatever you want to do, right? So making sure your product's good and you have good fulfillment will separate you from the 99% of the coaches out there who just give them a workout plan and give them a training program and say good luck, right? So that's super important. And then daily on-demand support, right? You don't need to be there 24/7, but you need to be present, right? You need to be present. You need to reply to them within 24 hours, right? And look, say you do get to a stage where I'm at now or anything like that, right? You don't need to be messaging them yourself. You can hire a VA. You can hire someone else to do that for you, right? And message people for you. You could even, once you get to a certain point, you could bring in another personal trainer to help you guys out, right? And be there to message your guys back. Simple as that, right? Which is very, very important, just to keep that community trust and everything like that, right? And then also, look, reply to them within 24 hours, encourage them to post their wins and any questions they have in the community chat, right? And the reason why I say community chat is honestly because it's going to show other people that other people are invested, and it's going to look good for you as well, right? If people are asking questions, doing this, doing that. So if you can bring the community together, bring everyone together, then you're going to get very far, right? And then share motivational messages or tips a few times a week with them as well, right? So when you have your group calls, when you do your stuff with your clients, right? Show them, share your stuff, get close to them, build rapport, and then from there you will see progress with your clientele. So do all of these things, give them tips, give them a bit of motivation each week, and that will definitely help. And here's just a quick example of just a very, very simple Discord community based chat, right? So obviously you got your welcome, to-do lists, book one-on-one as well. So you have a link there where they can book their one-on-one with yourself if they have got that access, right? And then chat as well. So you have the normal chat, you have the progress updates where people can put in their food, whatever they want to do, and then like training plan, right? Obviously you can put the link to the trainerize in there, whatever you want to do, right? But the main thing I'd say is a progress update and chat, right? You can put it called wins or you put diet, right? Whatever you want to do. But keep it simple, right? Simple is good. And this matters because obviously support and accountability equals client retention, right? You don't want people dropping off here and there. So you need to keep them on board throughout the whole time. And then track and celebrate progress as well, which we said before, that people stay where they feel they're winning, right? One of my guys here, Richard, right? He's absolutely killing it. He's smashing it, right? So one way you can basically track and celebrate wins is obviously track their weight, track their photos, track strength, track habits, track their mood, track their energy, right? With Trainerize, you can do all of that. So get them to plug that in, plug it in yourself as well, remind them, right? And every 4 weeks as well, do a mini progress report with them, jump on a call with them, go over on a group call, start your group calls as well with wins, right? That's one of the main things I would say. At the beginning of every group call, start with a win, right? And then from there, it would just get everyone boosted up and ready to go for that call, right? And then share anonymous wins in the group as well. This just builds like community stuff. So that could be you going on a hike, or you eating the right food, or you dropping down a kg, you know what I mean? So just share little things like that. And obviously highlight transformations on social media as well with permission, right? You guys see it on mine, you see it on everyone else's, right? Obviously ask if you can post it. And then, put it up there, right? Super important. And then obviously, why does this matter? Because clients need to see they're progressing and stay motivated, right? Because at the end of the day, you want them to see results, right? So they stay motivated, and you want them to build discipline at the same time, right? So once they've built up like a few months of like progress, then they're building that discipline along the line. So it's going to be a lot easier down the line to keep them engaged, right? Simple as that. And then number 5, build a real community, right? Coaching is more than one-to-one. People want to feel as part of something, right? As I said before, the group calls are a great way of doing that, right? Host Zoom calls, group calls, do Q&As, go through mindset, do some educational stuff as well, right? Use your Discord to share wins, recipes, challenges, right? Get your guys to put in their recipes for the day, right? And encourage members to support each other as well, right? So you're giving support, and then Harvey over there is giving support, and then Greg over there is giving support, right? So if you could bring everyone together, right, and generally create a good bunch of people who all want to improve, then you're going to go far with your group, right? Your group's going to be more motivated to go to the gym because they're going to feel excited to share their wins and want to get better each day. And then from there, they're going to feel a lot more fulfilled, right? And encourage members to support each other, as I just said, right? And the why this matters as well is basically clients stay longer and they feel more connected. They don't feel isolated as well, right? And then number 6, over deliver with small touches, right? A small price equals a big impact. Send them a voice note when they hit a milestone. Mail handwritten thank you or a small gift after 12 weeks in the program of working hard, right? Give free access to a bonus like a recipe guide or a mobility pack, right? Give them all of these things, and you can. There's things already made that you guys can use in Trainerize, which is very good, right? There's a lot of mobility stuff in there. You can give them recipes and give them bits and pieces here. Like with myself as well, I have a clothing brand. Send out a few things to my guys who obviously are in the program, and like things like that. Just small things. Doesn't have to take you long or cost you much, right? They go very far. And this matters is because surprises equal loyalty and referrals, right? So these are very, very good. Just small gifts. And then number 7, ask for feedback and referrals, right? Happy clients love to help your business grow, right? Because if you've helped them, they want to help you in some way. So at 6 to 8 weeks, ask them, hey, you're crushing it. Would love to know what you've enjoyed in so far, right? They might send you a video. They might send you, I don't know, uh, a paragraph, right? A message on Trainerize or your number, right? And then at 12 weeks, if you know someone who'd love to support, love this support too, I'd love to help them. I've got a referrals bonus if that helps, right? So that obviously gets them more intrigued, thinking about who else you can help, right? And how you can get them on board also, right? And why this matters, because word of mouth, as I said this before, is your best marketing channel, right? Word of mouth is the strongest ever, right? Ever, right? You never, like for me, for example, I've worked with so many people who I've met, right? And they told me to work with this guy. And I purely did that because I trusted them. And it's just easier when you're with them in person as well, right? Word of mouth is so powerful, right? And the 7 keys to great client experience, as we've gone through here, but we'll run through it again. So fast, friendly onboarding, right? So as I said, the first 24 hours, the first 7 days of someone's program is the number one importance, right? When it comes to it, right? So first 7 days is key, right? Think of that. The first 7 days of any program, anything you're doing, they could be fitness, that could be anything, right? Needs to be the top dog, right? And then weekly check-ins as well, right? With real feedback, right? Weekly check-ins could be, for example, your group calls, right? One-to-ones, right? These little things, and then daily support and quick replies, right? As we've gone through already, clear progress tracking, photos, weight, all of these things. A fun, supportive community. Community is honestly the best. I love my community. Everyone there are awesome. And then surprise value, right? Equal and appreciation. So surprise equals value and appreciation. So as I said before, we literally just gone through that, giving them something, bro. Giving them a mobility pack, send them a pair of like grip socks. I mean, that's what I do. So obviously, because I've got a clothing brand, a sports brand as well. So that's something I do, right, here and there. And then ask for feedback and referrals as well, right? So ask them what could you do better or what you've been enjoying, right? And how, if whether you would ask someone else. And then that brings in more leads, and then you make more money, and then you have more testimonials to push out there, right? So these are very, very important when it comes to growing your business, right? So if you guys want this, right, just DM me service delivery, right? And I'll send you through this whole page here just to get you guys going. And I'll send you through DM me prompts as well if you want all the prompts that I use for my business in order to get the most out of AI, because you guys got to adapt to AI. Otherwise, you're going to get lost, man. So adapt to AI. If you want the prompts, DM me prompts. If you want this, DM me service delivery, and I'll send you through everything. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys got any questions at all, like anything you want to know, give me a message on Instagram. I'll help you out there. I'll see if I can get you moving in the right direction also, right? Like myself, because I was once struggling. I was struggling a lot back in the day. Ever since I asked someone for help, my life completely changed, and it's the best thing I've ever done, right? So if you guys are struggling or need a bit of that one-to-one support, just give me a message. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can help you out. And then from there, I wish you all the best and trust the timing. So peace.